Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Past Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 122. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Seth. Say hi.
Hello.
And Steve. Say hi.
Hello, kitten.
Steven, say goodbye.
I can't even riff on that. What the hell?
Don't know. I've been getting a lot of mythical real pulls on Instagram, and it's a lot of like weird Sigma Alpha kitten stuff. And it's to the point where like I'll send them to people, and it's because I've sent them to so many people, I get a lot of it back, and I'm not sure if people know that I'm joking around.
It's the same energy as the it'd be those like extreme like fundamentalist groups that are like, man, Instagram is nothing but full of porn, and everyone's like, you know, it's tailored to what you look for, right? Like,
yeah. Nah, it's not me, but
no,
the algorithm's
just everyone else.
Me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Silencing conservative voices. That's you, isn't it?
Yep, that's it. The big media wants to keep the straight white man down.
Glad someone's finally saying it. Speaking of keeping people down bad perhaps. I have a question for you, Steve. This is. I don't say this ironically. This is a matter of possibly life and death.
Interesting.
I have in front of me, if you imagine that I give you receive meme, the dude offering the trade.
Oh yeah.
I have in front of me an offer from Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, and more important to me, Monster Hunter Now. I could give them 29 or 28. Let's round 28 New Zealand fun bucks. My hard-earned 28 New Zealand fun bucks.
How much is that in real money?
Like $1 or $2 maybe. I don't fucking know. Not much. And I would receive the Monster Hunter Now Carnival 2024 global ticket, which effectively means that I can play more Monster Hunter Now for a weekend.
Okay.
Sounds
cool.
Do I accept this trade? So I could, and
absolutely fucking not. You're insane. Real. This is a fucking free-to-play game, man. It's a free-to-play game. What the fuck are you doing spending your money? I hate everything about this conversation.
How are they meant to make money to continue supporting their free-to-play game?
Unless people buy 20,
I don't fucking know. It's free-to-play. If they wanted people to pay for it, they would have charged for it up front. All I'm saying is they don't want you to pay because it's free. You know what? You're doing a disservice to them.
They want you to get in easily, but then once you're in, that's when your wallet opens.
Me with that guy's wife.
You spend all your money on her? Is that the joke there?
It's not even for the entire weekend. It is 9 a.m. the Saturday until midnight on the Sunday. So I'm losing 9 hours of the weekend that I could be playing my favorite game, Monster Hunter Now. I access an event with a new monster at particular spawn points around the place, as well as higher chances of 2 other new monsters appearing. And I have an increased range for the 2 days.
Hang on. Whoa. There's two monsters with a likelihood chance. Are
three.
Are any of them like hawks?
3. Wait, hang on, what?
So there's no hawk tours. Forget it. I fucked it. I completely fumbled. Classic.
Steve,
but no, this
one of the monsters you're intimately familiar with, actually. It's the flagship from Monster Hunter World. Can you remind me what that monster is?
I know, Rathalos or something. You're never going to fucking hear me saying that word ever again.
You're close. Actually, one of them that they're introducing is the Silver Rathalos. So it's Nergigante, Gold Wrath, and Silver Wrath as the 3 that are coming. But yeah, I mean,
it just sounds like it's a community day, like because Pokemon Go does community days.
Yeah. It's literally a painful community day. Like if I was a whale on this game, which I am definitely not, I wouldn't even think twice about buying this because it gives you like a moderate perk for 2 days. But it's only for 2 days. And it's 28 hard-earned New Zealand fun bucks. That's like almost that's actually more than a McDonald's meal now. That's crazy. Anyway, so you wouldn't take the trade?
That is a lot, man. That is a lot.
So that's a no from you, Steve?
Yeah, it's a no from me, big dog.
Seth?
I think you should do it. Give Capcom and Monster Hunter all your money.
Interesting. But if I give them all my money, then how do I charge the phone that plays Monster Hunter Now?
Use someone else's electricity.
There's a streamer. I actually like, this isn't a joke. I actually quite like this feature, but there's a streamer mode in Monster Hunter Now, which just turns off all the location names.
That's pretty neat, actually.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually think that's pretty clever.
Yeah, I fuck with that. I fuck with that.
I have not consumed any Monster Hunter Now streaming content. I've got no idea if there's anyone even making it. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Monster Hunter Now, but no, I just thought I saw that flash up and it was like $28 for 2 days. Good lord. Anyway, we get to move on. I thought that was rather funny in passing. Happy Halloween. Steam charts, Seth?
Yeah, Steam charts, sure. So, this week is a simple week. I have one game, there is no comparisons. I just want you to do guess the player count. Sparking Zero came out a couple of days. What is its all-time peak?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I saw this the other day. It's like 250,000 or something. Actually, it might be 150,000. 175, that's what I'm saying.
Steven's at 175. Patrick?
175,001.
My God, I hate you every fucking thing. Shit.
Just to double check, that is 175,001.
Yes, and 1.
Okay, you're both wrong. So no one wins this round. Sparking Zero's all-time peak was 122,554.
Steve, you fucked
I was closer, so I won.
You both went over. This is Price is Right rules. If you go over, you don't count.
Yeah, but I don't know the Price is Right. I never fucking watched an episode of my entire life. So, but I was closer, so I won.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, did you say Sparking Zero or Sparkling Zero?
Does it matter now?
Not now, but for the sake of the bit, without you just fucking just ripping the soul from my body like that. I mean, fuck, hindsight's 2020. You could have humored me, but no. You know what, Seth? You're right. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna move on. So fuck you.
You're welcome.
Other than fucking Seth fucking dream smashing over there, what else have you been up to this week?
I'm not going to talk about it, but I played a lot of Metaphor because I was sick. But the one I'm actually going to talk about is that I finished Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Fucking opening that with "I'm not going to talk about it" is just so funny.
I haven't finished this long ass Atlas RPG, so I need to wait.
No,
maybe next time.
Just like is in a forum where he's encouraged to talk about what he gets up to, says "I'm not going to talk about it," and then just sits quietly. Refuses to elaborate, but doesn't leave.
Here's what I'm doing. It's on the table. Do with it what you will.
Okay.
Assume my impressions.
Steve, what about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've had a weird vision, for lack of a better word, about a game I played from my youth. Giants, Citizen Kabuto.
The Pokemon?
No. No, not in the slightest.
Oh, Pokemon's not going to like from something that sounds like a Pokemon.
Well, this game came out in 1999.
Is it one of those problem Pokemon we've learnt about recently?
No, it is not. It is not one of those.
A man walks along and finds a Kabuto in the river.
Why didn't he take it back home with him? He just put it back in the river.
People aren't going to get this reference. People aren't going to get this reference.
Yeah, but they're going to do enough Googling to get to the reference, and the horror on their face will be worth every.
That's true.
I was going to say every penny that I can't see their faces.
Shout out to Solid JJ. He'll give us a shout out back.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Generally, Solid JJ, very good.
Use this GamerSubs code or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he puts like a 30-second segment for me to just pause the video and unwind from his jokes at the very end.
So good. But yeah. So that's what I've been playing. I did it the old and Father forgive me for what I'm about to say, but I emulated that. I pretended I was playing a PlayStation 2 version, not even the. It's not a Nintendo game. They don't care. It never came out for a Nintendo console.
Not only does this man openly state that he emulated something, but he emulated a Pokemon game.
Nope, it's not a Pokemon game. I literally cannot stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. It is not a Pokemon
game. Tom Nook, break his kneecaps.
I'll see you from the electric chair viewing gallery, my friend.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Oh, like apart from like just... Actually, can I tell a funny story?
No.
I'm going to tell it anyway. Well, I'll tell you an unfunny story then. Fuck you.
I'm cutting it out.
So I did like a wine taste. I did like a wine tasting on the weekend, right? And this may surprise you all, but like I'm not really fussed about wine. I could take it or leave it. So like it's for a friend's 30th, so there's a whole bunch of us, like 30 or so people in this wine tasting type of area. And like,
I don't remember inviting you to a wine tasting event.
Yeah, because like my friends went. Yeah, fun guy. so it was like a French wine tasting. I was there. Like 30 of my other friends were there, or 30 of her other friends were there, and a couple of my friends. So, and this wine tasting included like a description of the wines and the grapes and like the tasting notes, and like it let there was like space for us to write in like what we thought about the wines. So my friend comes over and she's like, "Hey Steve, how are you enjoying the wine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like all the wines are good." And she looks over at like my piece of paper, and like underneath like each category of wine, I've written like good. Told you I told you I'd tell you an unfunny story. But I think that was very funny. Yeah. But here we are. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for coming to my Stephen talk.
You're welcome, I guess. What about you, Patrick? What did you get up to? Good question. Well.
This is still Round the Lounge. It's like 3 different bookmarks in this segment alone.
Yeah, no, shit's really gone downhill. So I actually haven't been up to too much. As I say, a little bit more something now. It's not worthy of its own segment, but I wanted to see the new operation that came out for the latest Space Marine 2 update, where there is I would say it's a spoiler, but it's like the only thing people have talked about it from it. A Tyranid Biotitan, which is gonna be fucking sick. Can't wait to fucking play it. No, the problem is haven't been able to because I This was one of those moments of just everything bad that could have happened. I have a couple characters that I can play endgame difficulty, and they actually introduced a new difficulty at an even higher, even higher difficulty for basically just bragging rights, because you don't get anything more out of the higher difficulty than you do the second highest difficulty or the previous what was the highest difficulty. So that's part of the update. That's sick. Haven't touched it. Looks scary as hell. But I have a couple characters that can do the second highest, I guess now, difficulty, and I can play them and they're fun. I want to level up a new character, so I pick a character that I can only play like the second difficulty on, and so I pick that, and then I want to load into the new operation, which has this Titan on it, and I'm like, oh yes, I want to load into this operation, and so I load into the operation, and Space Marine 2 does that matchmaking thing that I'm pretty sure I spoke about as one of the negatives, either in the rant that will never see the light of day, or the more refined couple of points that I dislike about the game. Last ep, but load in and game's like, oh, hang on, don't worry, there's these other 2 clowns already doing this operation, we'll just drop you in there. And one of them had picked the class that I'd picked, and I didn't realize that at the time, and so I had to pick a different class, which I had no spec loadout for, because, you know, there's absolutely no way of choosing a loadout on the fly, because someone's taken your class, which is still one of my bugbears with how they do matchmaking. So I load in on a class that I know how to play, but doesn't have the right loadout for what I'm playing. Bumbling through part of this operation, which actually is sick. I really like the aesthetic that they're going for. It's like a tile set from the campaign. But the 2 people that I'm playing with, one of them kind of knows what he's doing, but everyone's just dying a ton. And it is really sort of awkward. And so it's only 7th difficulty. It shouldn't be that bad. Bumbling around. And then finally, as we start making progress, because it's just wave after wave, and I'm a melee. One of the other guys is a melee because I wanted to level up one of the melee classes, and the other guy stole my class, so we're both melees. And then something that you can only hit with a ranged character spawned, and there was so much shit on the screen that neither of us had ammo, and so we're just running around trying not to die. It was kind of funny in like a comical sense, but at the time it was like, man, if only someone hadn't just taken my fucking class. And then I get through all of that, this absolute slogfest for like 50 minutes, and the game crashes. And because Space Marine crashes and it's all server-based, it was like, hey, you crashed. That 50 minutes meant nothing. Bad luck. You'll get them next time, champ.
And then you dropped the game, right?
And so because of that, I dropped the game that day. I do intend to come back and actually experience the operation fully, end-to-end, with the class that I want to play as, swear to God. But I've heard the mission is very fun. I've heard a lot of people say it's their new favorite mission. I cannot wait to play it. But yeah, no, really, really, really turns you off when it's a 50-minute slogfest and the game crashes. And that's basically my update for the week. So I guess you could that's either an extended Round the Lounge or that's the Pat Space Marine update. But
thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week.
This one, maybe we will timestamp this one as my segment actually, because I do genuinely want to get your guys' thoughts on this.
That sounds look. I understand it's pretty fucked. I'd be very angry too, but like, that's online games, baby. That's like, it is what it is.
No. There's a part two. There's a so that was its own thing. That was just a skill issue on the server's part. So I got nothing. Okay, boohoo, fine. But as part of this update, they also did a whole bunch of balance changes, and so the community has actually started review bombing Space Marine 2 on Steam because of some of these balance changes. And what they are, this is a bit that I want to get your guys' opinion on, is they have, in the PvE mode, nerfed a bunch of the weapons. And I'm curious as to your thoughts on this, because the stance that, because I haven't played the update with the changed weapons to know how they feel now. But I know that the weapon affected is my favorite weapon, which is the melter gun. And that's one that got a big nerf. And why I like it is because it feels powerful. And so if they nerf it and it doesn't feel powerful anymore, then that would make me sad. Maybe not to the point where I'd go review bomb it, but I have seen two camps. I have seen the camp of people that say it's a PvE game. We still want balance changes because we want all weapons to be viable, and because it's PvE, you have set difficulties. It doesn't make sense to buff everything, so you have to nerf things. Otherwise, you just have too much power creep through all of your loadouts, and then you have to end up scaling the difficulties as a result, and it doesn't feel good. That's one camp. So that's the pro nerfing a PvE game. The other camp, which I think I'm more in favor of, don't quite know, is the camp of it's a PvE game where you're playing a hulking, Gears of War style tank, which is just kind of a power fantasy of you're this unstoppable killing machine. When you nerf something in PvE that doesn't otherwise have an impact on the gameplay, you are messing with the fantasy of you are like, this Emperor's chosen special little guy, Space Marine, that by nerfing your weapons you feel more frail, and that takes you out of the like hulking, running around having fun killing machine, because now it's less fun when you're constantly going to die. And so it strips out a lot of that power fantasy, and therefore that's a major con. I think I'm more in agreement with the second camp, because I do really like the feeling of running around generally feeling unstoppable. And I know that they made a lot of the changes to the weapons, and they made some changes to armor apparently, and how some armor interactions work, which the bits that I've read, I won't restate them in case I get them wrong, but if what I've read is true, which I guess I'll find out when I play it, it might be a difficulty thing. It might only be that it comes in at high difficulties, but it already feels like you're very frail at high difficulties, especially against ranged enemies, and some of the armor changes would make that problem worse from what I read. But where do you guys sit on Camp 1 or Camp 2?
I gotta be real honest with you, big fella. That's I kind of, I don't know, nerfing a PvE weapon.
It's hard, right? It's not.
Yeah,
it's
hard. It's like a who cares type of thing. But at the same time, I would not care. Like, remember when like Elden Ring came out, and then some of the enemies were like complete dog shit. So then they nerfed them.
Yes.
And then that whole like, oh, you haven't really beaten the game. But at the same time, that could just be like
use Blade.
You didn't play the Day Zero version with like game crippling bugs. Absolutely insane. But it's kind of like it just becomes like a balancing act due to feedback, and it's. I can see both sides of the argument. I think I'm probably more in favor of the game being like fair and balanced. But at the same time, if it was nerfed, that means it was like too OP, and then it becomes like the I win button. But then I guess I don't know. So to answer your question, Pat,
it's an interesting. I mean, it helps add to the discussion. I think it's interesting for me in that I'm purely taking the melter gun, right? This is the singular gun, just because it's the gun that I know the best. It's the one that I first leveled up to max, or close to max. I'm not actually sure if I've maxed it out yet. Anyway, it's available on 2 classes out of 6. So even if it's this powerful OP weapon, you don't often see it used in PvE modes. I think it is quite common with the class that I play it with it as, because there's good synergy with an ability. And so that interaction I can understand. But I also kind of like that there's a weapon, because it's basically a shotgun, right? Like the melter gun is effectively a shotgun in any other game. And so the class that uses it, the class that I like to play as that uses it, is a very get up in your face. It's got like a grappling hook as its main ability. So you get up into the face of the enemy and then shotgun away, and it's great. I really like that interaction. My fear is that if it gets nerfed too hard, there are already times when if you grapple in and then start shooting, you kind of have to kill the thing or you die. It's a very like you're all in. That nerfing it might make sense on paper, but I'd almost rather you nerf it. Like I feel like there are a whole bunch of ways you can nerf it, and I think what they went for is just nerfing the damage, and I feel like that's the like cop out, because you could do stuff like it's already got short. Yeah, like it's got short range, so you could make it even shorter range, or you could make it longer to reload, or all these other things that don't take away from how good it feels when you pull the trigger, because that's the like, yes, this gun is good and it feels powerful, but you stand there like a fucking chump for like a second or two while you reload the damn thing. That yeah, I don't know. It's something about it being PvE rather than PvP. Like PvP, you know, like I played Dota for years. Like you want to nerf the thing that you always see in your games because some shit is just going to absolutely stomp you with it. Fine, but it doesn't feel like that's a common problem in PvE, and it feels like if your solution to it is to just nerf the damage, it does have an outsized impact on how good the gun feels compared to other tweaks that you could do. Seth, any thoughts? I'm not going to hop on this for too long. I'm just kind of curious as to just gauging where people are at with it.
No, yeah, damage, like you said, is kind of the cop-out way. I get it if it feels like it's too powerful, and I feel like it's fair enough to do it in a PvE scenario. I'd be more upset about it if it was a single-player thing, because Armored Core 6 was in this sort of dilemma as well last year, where dual Zimmerman build, which is basically like a dual shotgun build, was just tearing through things. And so like, you know what, we're going to slightly nerf it in single player so it's not the be-all end-all strategy in the game, but we're going to nerf it heavier in the multiplayer mode. And I'm like, you know what, that's fair, because it's like, yeah, it incentivizes other builds in single player, but then in multiplayer where it was like the actual big issue, then yeah, it's sorted out. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because like, yeah, damage output can be an issue. So I don't think it's like it's completely a cop out, but at times it does feel like a cop out, and there can be other ways to do it, especially in PvE. There could have been other ways to handle it.
I think the final thing I'll say is just because like I really enjoy the like micro optimization of like builds and shit. Like that's right up my alley, which is why Space Marine 2 like pulls at all the wrong parts of my psychology. But the thing which maybe helps contextualize this a little bit is that, as I say, this is a weapon that I have near max level. The stats on it do scale with your level, and let's say this with Dota, it's all about your like power curve. And I'm wondering, and I don't have a good opinion on this either way, but I'm wondering if the reason why they thought nerfing this was a good idea is if they nerf it at a particular difficulty level or if they nerf it across the board. Because at low difficulties, I can see this. I can see the argument more so than at high difficulties, where low difficulties you generally feel like pretty good because the amount of enemies that you face are more than enough to be handled by the melter. But at high, it's, as I say, a fairly committal playstyle of you're about to grapple hook into a bunch of enemies. One of you is walking away, and you hope it's you. That I guess there's like PvE of scaling a gun, but then there's PvE where the PvE itself has difficulty scaling as well, and what that does in terms of the... I guess I'm just curious what the data is that they base this decision on. Just a purely curiosity point on my side of just what did they see that they decided, let's nerf this? Or what would they need to see to decide, let's buff or let's nerf this other thing?
Should ask him.
All very interesting.
Ask him
anyway,
like, why
good to move
they
on.
did this. Yeah, just ask them. Ask them.
Ask him.
Send them an email. Blast them on Twitter. Now known as
You
X.
know what? Steve, you're right. I will review bomb them.
Nope. I clearly... You know what? You do you, big dog.
I'm going to play the Uno Reverso card and say, you do you. Tell me about Kabuto.
Ooh. So Giant Citizen Kabuto is a game that came out in fucking 1999, and I played it...
Great year.
No, like a lot when I was a fucking kid. Like I have, and it's probably one of my first memories. I'm like 6 or 7 years old. I'm playing this game, and like this is an adult game that
Aren't you the same age as me? 99 would be 5.
Yeah. Did I say I played it in 99? Idiot.
Well, you should have started with that.
So
I mean,
the
to be
game
fair,
was
Steve did get you with that.
the game came out in 1999, but I have a vague recollection of when I play. Anyway, doesn't matter. Does not matter in the slightest. So I'm playing this, and this game is a very adult game. It's got like blood in it, like shooting. Like it wasn't appropriate for a 7-year-old. And in the middle part of the game, which I'll get to in a bit, you're playing as this character Delphi. And in the PC version of this game, she's not wearing a shirt, so like her tits are out, which is whatever. It is what it is.
Game may be based.
Yeah, pretty much. And I had this complete memory of like, for whatever reason, my parents had a tradesman come over to fix something in the roof or something, and the guy like walks into the room and he's like, he walks in and he's like, didn't know video games had tits in them these days, and he just walks out, and it was like the weirdest fucking experience of my life. And I'm like 7 at this point, and I don't think I fully understood at that young age, because obviously I didn't care about like people or women at that age, and it was just like, why would you comment on that? And then like 10 years later, that realization hit me like a truck. It's like, oh, you probably thought I was a fucking pervert. But anyway, so I played this game through like 3 or 4 fucking times when I was a wee little lad, and the basic premise of this game is that you are some weird space aliens called, I think, Mechatrons or something. Weird buggers, Mechatron. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And you land and you get shot down over this planet, and it's like, oh fuck, all right. Like there's a squad of 4 of us. I got to get the gang back together. And then there's this kind of alien race on this planet called Smarties, and you kind of get swept up into helping them overthrow the evil Queen Sappho. And it starts off as a 3rd-person shooter type of game, as you play as Baz, I think is the name of the first Mecharon that you play as, and then you eventually get like the rest of your gang back together, so you're in like a squad of 4, and essentially the rest of the gang shoots where you're shooting at. So it's kind of like not like squad based, because not that I found the button for to like direct them. Because I was emulating the PS2 version. The PS2 version is a little bit different. Like they cut every stage into more sections, and they've like made like controller support and all that type of the handy dandy that comes with that. So anyway, so you start. It starts off as like this 3rd-person type of shooter game, and then in the second part you're playing as Delphi, and Delphi uses like a bit of like magic and swords and bows and all that kind of stuff, and that's pretty cool because it's roughly the same type of 3rd-person action type of game, but instead of using missiles, using kind of like fire spells like Slow Time or Fire Typhoon or like Turbo or something like that. And it's very interesting. It feels very similar, but it's very interesting what Delphi does and her character and having swords and all that kind of stuff. And for the 3rd part of the game, you're playing as the titular character Kabuto, and you're this big monster, and you've got to eat other things to like grow bigger, so you can eventually go and beat the thing that you're created for, which is just like bigger Kabuto. And it is a very simple game. There's a couple of parts where there's like this weird base building type of thing, and that's very fun to do that. There is like 5 different weapon types. Like you got your classic like sniper rifles, machine guns, RPGs, and those are all fun. I will kind of say that because I was playing the PS2 version, it has this weird auto aim on it, like to the point that like you're nowhere near shooting people, and it just redirects your bullets to these people, like to the enemies, and it was very jarring to first do that. But it's very helpful, and I think because it started off as a PC game, and then it was ported later to the PS2, and I think probably it was at that time where PC games didn't really get a lot of console ports, especially like shooters. So probably maybe the programmers at the time were like, you know what, people on controllers have a hard time enough as it is aiming. Let's just kind of give them this auto aim, and it's pretty cool. The humor is very good. Like the cutscene and the story is very much like you'll finish a level and there'll be a cutscene for like a minute and a half. Like it very light on the story. It kind of has people meet each other and they're best friends. And it's like, yep, this is what you got to do. And it's like, okay, I'll do it. Like, not going to ask questions why. It's very funny as well. The jokes kind of hold up. There is one moment where I'm like, ooh, that joke wouldn't hold up today. But like, whatever, that is what it is. That's a lot of stuff from that time. But like overall, the humor is pretty funny. The gameplay, the gunplay, very good. It doesn't look as bad as what I thought it would be. Like it's definitely dog shit textures and all that kind of stuff. But like I could see this being on the Switch. I could see this being fucking Pokemon Legends Arceus and like not seeing the difference. But the movement of the characters is very good as well. There's like a jetpack you can get when you're playing as a Mecharan, and that's pretty fun to fly around with. There's a lot of like inertia that builds it very fast, so you can use that to kind of jump over enemies. And it's important that it's got. I'm not sure if this. I can't remember if games at the time did this a lot, but if you've got to get from point A to point B, you don't have to like pretty much kill every enemy. Like there was one part I was kind of getting stuck at, like I was just getting like shot out of the sky type of thing by snipers. So I just got the shits and literally just ran as fast as I can and got straight to the exit. And that was kind of it. Like I finished the level. And I thought that was interesting. Not sure if it was purposeful way of attacking levels, but it's, look, if you keep dying, you can only do something before you like kind of just get the shits and do your own thing. Yeah. But I really like this game. Like it's, because I remember when I was like emulating it, I was like looking online to see if there was any like rumors of, oh, this game's getting remade or something, or like or what have you. And as far as I can tell, this game's fucking dead in the water. We're never getting this game's never seen the light of day again.
Steve, I'm telling you, if it's not Horizon, it's not getting remade.
Oh, The Last of Us, right? Well, if this game came out for the PS5, it'd be remastered by now.
Yeah, it would. Unironically, it would.
Oh god, that's fucking sad. But yeah, like I still really enjoyed this game. I think it holds up quite well. It's quite short as well. Like I think it was only like 6 or 7 hours. And I think an extra hour of that was me like fucking around or getting stuck on a level or something. And also as well to kind of go back to the story with the naked chick at the start, as all things are. The PS2 version is like censored, so she's got a top on instead of like letting freeing the nip. So it was kind of like early stages of woke, to use that term in a very funny way.
I'm going to end you.
And you'd be right to do it. But that's like I was reading like online and stuff that they did the censorship because like consoles at that time were still kind of seen as like games are for kids, especially on the PlayStation. So that's why they did it. And I think they needed to drop it down from like an MA to like a teen rating. But there's always a business sense to these kind of censorship decisions as well. But it was very funny to like kind of like play this game and like, wait a minute, isn't she supposed to be like, why is she wearing a top? And then I Googled it and I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? Who cares? because it's third person, you're only seeing her back anyway, so who cares? But yeah, it's good. I am not sure if I would recommend this to a person if they haven't played this game before. But if you're looking for like, if you've got this
one of those,
yeah, if you're like got the nostalgia for it, it is really good and it's pretty much exactly how I remembered it.
Yeah,
like,
no, that was me. Like you're describing the same thing with me with Simpsons Hit and Run. Of like, I don't know if someone that didn't play it originally would have any idea why this game was fun, but
yeah,
still holds up. You play it again like more recently, and you're like, damn, what a game.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of like and maybe because like, you can get it from like GOG, like Good Old Games, if you really want to. There's this weird Steam release of it, but apparently it's like broken and unoptimized as shit. So I don't recommend you go that way. Like there are ways if you want to legally obtain it, and realistically, maybe I should have legally obtained it because I like really enjoyed playing it and playing it as a kid as well. But at the same time, I'm not sure how I'd feel about this game if I wasn't blinded by nostalgia with this. It'd be very interesting to see like what the take is on someone that has never played this game before and be like, and to see if it's like, Steve, put down the pipe. You have no fucking clue what's going on. This game dog shit. At the time when it came out, it did get like 9s or 8s out of 10. So surely that doesn't mean I'm being ridiculous about this, but
no, it would probably actually be higher because I imagine the whole IGN 7 meme is something that's more recent than the 90s.
Well, IGN gave it like a 9.2.
No, but that's my point. Like what I'm saying is you'd assume back in the day that the average game was probably closer to a 5 or a 6 because it was the average score and not the like average review, if that makes sense.
Yeah, not like it is now, whereas like a game's unplayable if it's less than a 6. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so for it to be given a 9 back then is probably a stronger indication of how good it is than if if IGN would have given it a 9 today. It's you know what? It's rating inflation. It's like everything else. It's bloody inflation.
Rating
I tell
inflation. You know that's actually not a bad concept. I like that. But it'd be very interesting to see like if it would like what people like without blinded by nostalgia goggles like what I am. Like if someone played this now that had never played this like when they were younger, would they think it's like average? Because like it's kind of and this is kind of where I always struggle, like going back to those old games. And you are right, like going back to Simpsons Hit and Run is like very like I haven't done it to be honest, and I played so much of that game as a kid, like to the point that it's like I 100% of that game, getting all the collectible cards and stuff without a guide. So I don't know how long that took me to do that. So
it holds up.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. Also, another thing, I don't think the PlayStation 2 port's very good. Like it does not tell you the controls. Like there's no like, oh, you've gained like a new weapon. Press this button to switch your weapon. It does not tell you that. Or if it does, it doesn't show you, or it isn't a repeatable like event or something. And it kind of gets a bit difficult during the base building section where you've got like a couple of things going on, and it would be good to see like because you're using like the shoulders and the trigger buttons, and I kind of always was forgetting like which trigger did what. And yeah, it was just kind of because it doesn't tell you and you don't use it often enough to get used to it. So I kind of found that was a bit disappointing, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have played the PlayStation 2 version, but it's still very good. Still rated very highly. Giants, Citizen Kabuto. I think it's only like $20 as well on GOG if you're interested. Hint,
20 seems high for a game that came out that long ago.
All right then. I stand corrected. Is it?
I don't know.
20% off.
What?
It's 20% off right now.
It's 20% off, so it is $20?
Nah, so it's
this man's talking about all these deals and saying how low of a price it is, and he emulated it.
Do you not? Yeah. But yeah, really good game. I really liked it. I'm glad I played it. I would probably never play this game again. But I'm glad I played it and revisited the nostalgia.
That's cool. And next up, Seth, would you play Zelda again?
That's a weird way to open up this segment, but maybe?
Oh, that wasn't a yes.
I like it enough, but not justifiably enough to go, yeah, absolutely, I would play it again. It was fine for the one-time playthrough.
You like it, but not enough to like take it to the next step, like Typhlosion type thing. I get you.
Yeah, but there's many games I would play where it's like, yeah, I love this one time, I'm never going to play it again. Like, well, actually, love that one time is a bit strong, but God of War Ragnarok, I liked enough the first time, and that game's so story heavy, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to play this a second time. The one time was enough to get my feel on it.
Did you buy this game? How did you play this game? I may remind you that you're under oath.
Yeah, I'm abstaining from talking about how I played this game so that Nintendo doesn't dox me.
Very good. You're going to jail.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom came out a couple months ago. I think it was like the end of September. This one's interesting
one,
because
but-
it's
like 3 weeks ago, man.
yeah, it was like end of September or start of September. I can't remember exactly which. But yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
because this is the first time they're doing a Zelda game where you actually play as Zelda instead of Link. And it just basically starts off like, oh, it's
Wait, hang on. Aren't you always playing as Zelda? Isn't that's the Legend of Zelda?
No,
No,
Zelda's
you're
the
playing-
horse.
exactly.
Huh.
I shouldn't have agreed to that so easily.
Yeah, no, you play as Link because you're the link between the player and the game.
Ah. You're telling me the problem exists between the game controller and the chair.
You're telling me a link is between this world?
The Zelda games are a link to the past because it whenever you play a new one, it's like you're linking back to your childhood experiences.
How about your link between these nuts? I just dabbed. No one. The video people saw it, but I just dabbed.
But yeah,
Happy for you.
this game basically starts off with like the ending of A Link to the Past, where it's got Link raiding Ganondorf's base to save Zelda from her crystal prison, but then they change it up in that like once the battle's over, both Ganondorf and Link get pulled into like this rift in space time, and Zelda escapes, and then it becomes her adventure to save Link. And it's basically just a cute little puzzle game. Like a lot of the things you're going to do is learn how to mimic objects and weapons. Like whenever you kill an enemy, you learn how to mimic them so they become like your little minion to take out other enemies or bosses. You come up to like a bed and then you scan it, and it's like you can now spawn a bed wherever you are, or go up to a pot and it's like you can now make a pot wherever you are. And there's a lot of different items you can do. Like basically everything in the overworld you can scan and then recreate wherever you are. And because of that, it's very open about how you solve all of the puzzles in the game. And it runs into that Tears of the Kingdom problem very early on, where it's like you can do whatever you want to clear a puzzle, and you can quickly
That's
find
not a
the one
problem.
solution that you can very quickly find the one solution that solves all of the puzzles.
Okay,
And that's
okay,
what I mean by the problem.
Yeah, if you've
like,
got multiple ways to solve a puzzle, that's good. If you've got one way to solve all puzzles, that's kind of, yeah. That's
Yeah,
too
and
creative,
my-
it sounds like it is, yeah.
It's not even creative. My solution to solving 90% of the puzzles in this game was to stack beds on top of each other so I got higher or I got further distance across gaps, because very quickly you can upgrade Zelda so that she can make more and more items. She's got this little companion with her in this game called Tri, which is like this little floating orb that has little triangles hanging out of its head, and the more triangles it has floating behind it, the more objects and the more powerful abilities Zelda can make. So like higher tier enemies will require more triangles from them. But beds are one triangle. So by the end of the game, you can spawn like 6 to 7 beds and stack them up. So you're like going 6 or 7 panels high or 6 or 7 panels across. And then you don't even need to do that many. You can make like, say, 3 beds go across. So you get a bit of a distance. And then you spawn an object that will let you float across the map a little bit. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm just skipping all distance-based challenges with this now.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, man. Like, it's kind of,
It's a very neat idea. It's very open, but it quickly gets broken over its back because of the bed is like the first thing they give you, and the bed was like solving 90% of puzzles for me. So like I was disengaged with a lot of puzzles the entire game.
yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, but in the game's defense as well, the game's like 30 hours, and that's doing side quests. If I just mainlined the story, it would have been like 15 to 20. So it's not a very big game. It's a baby Zelda game.
Insane
And-
behavior to say that 15 hours isn't long, but anyway.
For a Zelda game, that's short.
But like, I think it's an unfair comparison though. Like, it's
That's why I'm saying it within the confines of its own series.
yeah, I guess so.
It's like a weekend game when Zelda games are usually multiple weekends. But no, I enjoyed it a fair bit. The dungeons within the game itself are a lot of fun. Like, you can't brute force the dungeons with the bed gimmick, even though there are different things inside the dungeons you can brute force in different ways. Like I didn't know about this, but I saw someone talk about the game today in like a video essay, and like, hey, so I skipped the water temple by spawning a spider and just letting it walk all the way up the back wall of the building, that instead of going through all the different rooms to unlock all the different keys to get to the top. And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. That's a very silly method to actually beat this dungeon, because it just takes away all of the challenge. It turns like a 20-minute dungeon into a 5-minute one.
Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, that is what it is. Like, I appreciate the creativity, but like, at what point are you just like skipping the game?
Yeah.
But if the game lets you to do, I don't know. I'm always kind of in that.
If the game
lets you do it, it's
it's not a failure of the game design if it's open enough to let you do that. But I think I don't know how you would restrict it either, because they're like, hey, you may spawn anything you want, and that's just an invitation to break things.
Yeah, or it'll be like unfair because it's like, oh, you stopped me from doing this cheese thing, which kind of isn't fair.
Yeah. And something that did take away from the game a little bit for me is that very early on they put you in a boss fight against a Shadow Link, and when you beat him, they're like, okay, you get a power up move now, where for a limited time you can swing a sword and shoot a bow and arrow. And it's like, okay, so you got like the familiar Legend of Zelda toolkit, but it's like on a cooldown. It's tied to a gauge, so it's very restricted. Okay. But I enjoy having it. They don't want you using it a lot, and I'm fine with that part of it. What really upset me, and spoiler for the end of the game, you save Link and they take it away from you. They're like, okay, you saved Link, give him his sword back so he can help you through the final dungeon. Now all you have is the Zelda mimic abilities, and like the other part of her toolkit is now completely gone. I'm like, I really don't like it when you just take away one of my tools like that for the final dungeon.
Yeah, that kind of is really reminding you that this isn't Zelda's game. This is Link's the hero. Okay, that's a weird fucking thing to do.
It doesn't even frame Link as a hero. It still frames Zelda as a hero. It's just like, okay, you had your fun. Now let Link do some work to help you. Because if you don't give him his sword back, he can't do anything. And it's just like, we want this moment to be Link and Zelda working together. But it comes at the expense of taking away some player tools, which I'm never a fan of.
Yeah, especially like that late in the game. Like why take this? At least like overpower it type thing. That's weird. Did you like this game? I don't know. I get the feeling that like you're doing like me, like like you just shitting on the game. I enjoyed it.
I want to put up front as like, yeah, no, this is very easy to break. I disengaged with a lot of puzzles because it's like, I found one solution that breaks everything, so I'm just going to do that over and over again. But everything else about the game, like the characters, the story, going through the world, all of those are a lot of fun. Like it's just it's a fun game to play. And there's quite a few side quests to do that are like little neat things. The way they have the characters interacting with the world is cute. One thing I kind of don't like, though, going back to that like compliment sandwich approach to this game, very early on I got to the Deku Forest, and I was like, oh, hey, this looks like an important place. I want to go check this out. But you can't. They're like, no, you have to go do these two places first, and then go do the midway point dungeon of the game. And then we'll unlock the Deku Forest and 2 other dungeons you can go to. And it's like, oh, okay, they're like being pretty strict about the order of operations for this game instead of just letting me go in any direction, even though the map is completely open to go in any direction I want.
Is it? Yeah, because you can solve any puzzle like this, but you can't solve the overall problem, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, no, this door is locked until a story event happens that unlocks it.
Yeah, I've definitely hit stuff like that. And then it's like, you get forced to go do like some sort of side quest or something, and then you come back and it's like, that arbitrary roadblock that I couldn't get past, I can now get past, even though nothing has changed.
Exactly. Except this one is all tied to story, and it's like, actually, no, something did change. Which, fair enough. But I don't know if they were going to let you go all over the open world, the overworld as you wanted to. Then I think they should have had everything open from the get-go. Like, you're kind of following Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's formula by letting you do whatever you want in this overworld. Then let me go do the final boss if I accidentally stumble across them kind of approach.
Yeah. Yeah, but then like you get like, oh, I beat the final boss in like the first 10 minutes by cheesing it.
Yeah, but that's
I
fine.
don't know.
People do that. People did that in Breath of the Wild. They found the tool to go like, hey, I'm going to use the stop time tool on this rock, beat the shit out of it so it gets launched, and I'm just going to stand on it so I a cannon blast my way into Hyrule Castle.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, no, those are fun to see. Like, it's a very fun when you can do stuff like that. So I don't mind it. And if you're going to try and mimic those games, then yeah, just let me take Zelda, give her like 20 smoothies because they made Zelda in this game a white girl smoothie girl.
I love smoothies. I got myself a boost the other day. First boost I've had in like 4 years. It was so good.
Fucking same. Last week I had a boost and it was the first boost I had in like 4 or 5 years.
What'd you get?
Mango Magic is so good.
I think I got like I think that might be the one that I got as well. Oh, fuck, that's so good. That's one of the goats. What boost do you get, Pat? Just fucking kill yourself, man. Just fucking kill yourself.
There is a juice place that I've been to a couple times. I don't know if it's called Boost though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a standard order.
And you can
next time you come to
FGL
Australia, we're getting you a boost with Mango Magic.
No, you get a Mango Magic boost. You don't get a boost with Mango Magic. God, we got one sponsor. We got this. This is the second sponsorship with dealing with, and you just fumble it.
They'll understand. Me no English good.
That just seems racist.
You know,
no, it's just me being bad at speaking. But yeah, no, this is a very enjoyable game. Like, I'm just doing all these precautions. Like, yeah, maybe try different solutions than just the bed when you play this game. It's very easy to fall into that trap because it works. But maybe try other things and get experimental with the game because there is fun to be had in like trying to figure out how other tools could work in different scenarios. And yeah, besides that, it's basically standard 2D Zelda stuff. Like, you find a character that's like, hey, I want you to do this little challenge room that's just like, go and collect all these things, and if you do it fast enough, you get better rewards. You have like a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do attack stronger, so do my challenge runs that are just like little excerpts of dungeons where you got to fight monsters with restrictions on them, and those were sort of fun. There was one that was a pain in the ass because I didn't know how to figure it out, and but once I realized how to do it, it's just like, oh yeah, no, this is only a problem because now I have to deal with ice physics rather than the enemies. They got the Lon Lon Ranch, so you get you don't even get an Epona in this game. You get like a new white horse for Zelda because she gets like a pure princess horse. Like, it's white with blonde hair.
Yeah, she's always had that horse.
Yeah,
Epona is Link's horse.
Yeah, I just like Epona.
Yeah. Well, play a Link game.
There was one other thing right. This game has its own version, a new Tingle replacement. It's got this guy called the Stamp Guy. All over Hyrule, there's like these locations where it's just like a big stamp marker, and this guy just loves it, like stamps. That's it. So he gives you like these stamp cards. If you go up to these stamp locations, he comes in, gives you a stamp, and like this has got like a chibi art style, like the a Link's Awakening remake did. So it's all like very small, cutesy art style. But then his stamps are like the fully grown, like very detailed humanoid Zelda characters, and it's like it's very jarring but very funny seeing his stamps be like him parachuting down, giving a thumbs up, or doing athletic abilities, or like there's 3 of him doing like that gyrating circle dance. He's a weirdo, but he's like my favorite type of weirdo. Stamp Guy is my new favorite weirdo character in the Zelda series. He's way better than Tingle.
I don't know what to do with that info.
Yeah, no, fuck you.
I think that's about all I had to say. Like, it's got all your familiar locations. Like, it's got the Gerudo Valley, it's got the Zoro Domain, it's got the Goron Domain. I believe the map is almost 1-to-1 based on the Link to the Past map. So it's not very new in terms of feeling, in terms of its map feel. But I think that's fine. This is like letting Zelda have a game that's just her exploring Hyrule in itself is a neat enough a new idea that redoing the map isn't like a big deal to me. But yeah, overall enjoyable game. I spent like 30 to 40 hours on it because I was doing all the side quests. There was like maybe 2 I didn't do. And one of them was like because you have to go around and collect all of these new collectibles that there's way too many of in the game. I got just enough to upgrade all of my kit, and it's like, okay, you got like 25 more in the overworld. I'm like, no, I'm done, thank you. I looked up what the reward for this was. It's not worth it. It's just placing something in the overworld that I'm not going to care about, so I'm going to move on. But
you didn't want to find every Korok seed?
No, I don't. I don't want the golden poo stick.
That's
Definitely
God. I hate
with
how they
that
fucking did
attitude.
that.
Yeah, like this is like a genuine 7 out of 10, like an actual real 7 out of 10, not a reviewer scaled 7 out of 10.
Amazing.
Yeah, look. This game's on the list, right? I'll get to it. As a man that's played
Wait for the
most.
Switch too, because I've heard horror stories about how the game runs on the vanilla Switch.
Those stories from yourself because you ran it on the vanilla Switch.
Yes, definitely.
We got him. But yeah, cool. I'll get to it eventually when it goes on sale, right?
It's not a hard recommend, but it is if you ever get the itch to check it out, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Zelda games as well, so like I'll get there. I'll get there.
You said that with so much enthusiasm. I for one know for a fact that you're going to get there.
You know what? We're all gonna get there. We're all gonna make it. Dap me up.
Thanks, Steve. I needed to hear that. Right. But you know what I need to hear now? I need to hear some news. So that's it for part 1. We're going to move on to part 2, which is of course the news. Now, Seth, you've been jumping up and down, just absolutely just begging to talk about the roadmap update for Tekken 8. So what's in it? And should I, a person who has not touched Tekken 8 since a week after it came out, care?
Did you buy the season pass?
Fuck no.
Then no.
Oh.
So little bit of context.
Do they have any crumbs for the paws like myself?
You get 500 Tekken coins if you log in later this month.
Fucking Tekken. What are the? I don't want to ask.
Okay.
What the fuck is a Tekken
question,
coin?
and I made this with full sincerity, Seth. Is 1 Tekken coin more or less than a New Zealand fun buck? Because 500 Tekken coins could easily pay for 2 days of Monster Hunter now, if that's the case.
Oh no, 500 Tekken coins is like $5.
What are you buying?
NFTs.
Old costumes.
Old costumes.
What?
Fighting games are a mistake.
So bit of context for this one. Heihachi came out a couple of weeks ago. I talked about him. He came with a new stage. That new stage was not part of the season pass because the season pass was literally called a character pass and you would only get the characters with it. But because when Lydia came out, they also added a beach stage for free. Everyone just kind of assumes that every stage is going to be for free with the characters as well. So when Heihachi's stage wasn't included, everyone was like, wait a second, you lied to us. And Namco went, no, you just didn't read. And everyone got really mad about it and review bombed the game on Steam so hard that Namco's now like, you know what? Maybe we did lie a little bit. So for the rest of the season pass, there's going to be 1 more character and 1 more stage. You get the next stage for free. Please stop review bombing us. We'll also give you $5.
But the $5 is only redeemable for Tekken fun bucks.
Yes, and it's only between the period of October 29 to November 26. You can redeem it.
That's so stingy with $5.
I mean, like, you can only claim it within that time. Not like you have to spend it within that time.
Like it's not that you get like $5 that you can just spend on anything. It's Bandai Namco going, here's $5 of in-game currency. You only have $5 of in-game currency if you log in between this and this point.
Not even when they announce it. It's like 2 weeks after they announce it.
That's
and
what
a
I
month.
mean. Yeah. I'm just thinking of that Arrested Development line. It's like it's a single banana, Michael. How much could it cost? 500 Tekken fun bucks.
I get it because the 500 Tekken coins is equivalent to how much the stage DLC was, but they can't give away the stage DLC for free because that'll screw over the people that bought the DLC already. So their method is like, you know what? If you come back in this 1 month time frame, you get that stage's worth of money in Tekken.
Well, you know what? Maybe I will come back and get absolutely slaughtered online by everyone else that's been playing for more than the 0 hours I have been for the past 10 months.
Just pick a top tier.
Like,
getting better at the game. Heihachi.
King.
King is actually mid tier.
Who's the top tier?
The top tiers are like Nina and Dragunov.
Oh, I love Dragunov. Yeah, okay. I'm back in.
I hate you.
He's so
Dragunov
happy.
is the most boring character to watch right now. Because he's too good and too vanilla.
Well, trust me, it's exciting when I play him because it's not boring when you look at a moron that has no idea what he's doing. Hit every button in special mode.
Yes. I actually went against a Dragunov last night, actually, that was doing that.
Holy shit. How did you know I was practicing?
He was actually
I could
dragging
just
all these
tell.
nuts. He was
Yeah,
actually
well,
dragging
Stephen
all these
killed
nuts.
him.
Damn it. You guys are both
Well,
Hitler.
perks of being in a time zone 2 hours ahead and also sharing the same thoughts as to fuck Steve. All right. Next up, we have some.
What did you want to say?
You heard me. Wait, hold on. Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero DLC?
No, Sparking Water.
Okay, Sparking Water.
TV static.
The Baja Blast of Sparking Water. DLC characters announced because, of course, they were. I'll be honest. I'm surprised that they weren't announced before the game came out.
They kind of were, but they couldn't reveal who they were because it was for the show that hadn't started yet.
What show has Vegeta Mini in it?
Dragon Ball Daima, which started last week.
I thought it was 2 weeks ago now. It does not fucking matter. I stopped myself. I don't care.
Chimes in to correct one of us, realizes he's about to get pulled in, tries to swim back to shore.
So yeah, before the game came out, they're like, hey, we got a season pass. We're going to have one pack that's Dragon Ball Super superhero characters.
Whoa, Seth, I need you to shut the fuck up for a sec. You're telling me a fighting game that just came out has announced a season pass?
It's not a fighting game. It's an arena fighter.
All right, you know what? I'm joining Steve on the shore. I don't fucking care.
See. You're gonna get in
The
trouble,
water's
man.
too cold anyway.
So yeah, the first DLC pack is like, hey, it's Dragon Ball superhero stuff. Then DLC pack 2 is a chunk of Dragon Ball Daima characters. And then another DLC pack later on is going to be the second chunk of Dragon Ball Daima characters. Presumably they're going to be like announcing them when certain characters get shown off in the show.
Get killed off in the show, you mean?
Possibly. But continuing the Daima train, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot refuses to die and is also getting a Dragon Ball Daima DLC pack.
They're really shilling this Daima, aren't they?
For how much we were talking about how interesting Sparking Zero looked, has anyone actually played it yet? Or like has this swayed them into more seriously looking at picking it up?
I haven't played it yet because Metaphor came out the same day, so I've been letting my younger brother play it.
Insane. Buying a game on release on it to play it.
I mean, it's being used. My younger brother is playing it. I can grab it whenever I want, but also I got sick, so I wasn't in the mood to play it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, any other Dragon Ball Sparkling Water news you want to touch on?
Yeah, Xenoverse 2 also refuses to die and is also doing a Dragon Ball Daima pack.
Seth, don't know how to type. That's okay. I feel like Steve is about to say something stupid. Let's all listen and watch.
It was exactly what you were going to say. He was actually asked if there's any more Sparking news, and you've jumped to Xenoverse 2.
Well, we're already past Sparking, so Patrick was way late.
But Pat specifically asked, check the tapes. He asked, any Sparking Zero news.
Unfortunately, Steve is right, but he's also activated the suicide vest here because I said he's about to say something stupid, and then Steve literally said what I was about to say. So, egg on my face.
What, Sparking on your face?
Shut the fuck up.
Activated the suicide vest. I'm taking that. That's going to be a good saying to say at work tomorrow.
Yeah, it goes down a real treat when you work airport security. Okay. Was there any other Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC news that you wanted to talk about, Seth?
No, that's all. Dragon Ball Daima is invading every Dragon Ball game except for Fighter Z.
They're still fucking making DLC for every time we talk about Xenoverse 2 having DLC. I'm always like, man, they're still doing stuff for this game.
It's been like 9 years.
Yeah, I know, right?
That game refuses to die. It is literally Dragon Ball's MMO in the West now.
Very strange. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're not releasing it anytime soon because it's sparking zero success, so that's fine.
All right, well, next up.
Did we talk about the Kakarot one?
Yeah, we did.
We
okay,
did.
Cool,
but then I didn't get to ask you because you interrupted me. I was going to ask if you were going to get it.
I still got to get the other fucking 2 DLCs I've missed. I really like Kakarot. I could go back to it. They're all arena fighters. I'll wait until... I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it at that.
You heard it here first, folks. Steve doesn't know. But does Steve know about the Death Note Killer Within being rated for the PS5 and PS4 in Taiwan? You do? I
do, yeah. No, I very interesting about this because like a Death Note, a series that ended 15 years ago now. It's had a couple of VNs, like visual novels. It
had a sequel chapter released as well.
It did. It had Donald Trump feature in it. Yeah, and it's not very good. Maybe if you're a world critic or if you're a world-renowned author, maybe just when your story's over, just full stop. There's no need to keep writing. But anyway, so
unless it's the Boruto method where someone else take.
Can you both both of you talk at the same time? I really like that.
I was going to say, unless it's the Boruto method where someone else takes over and then they do such a bad job, the original writer needs to come in and fix it.
What were you going to say, Pat?
Tell that to the Dune writer's son.
I read 3 months ago. I read the Wikipedia. Man, that guy needs to be put in an asylum. If you ever imagine your dad writes the first 3 books of Dune, and then he passes away, so then you write the next the last 3 books of Dune, and you just shit everywhere. Put the fries in the bag, bro.
I've been waiting for Steven to bring that onto the pod.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that too.
Yeah. But anyway, so Death Note has had a couple of visual novels that I don't think any of them have come to the West actually. They're just pretty much retelling of the anime manga series. So it'd be very interesting to see what this fucking game is. I don't see. Who knows what this could be? It could be a retelling of the story. It could be a weird self-insert character. It could be a million things.
But
you know what it is?
More than likely, it's going to be a retelling.
It's going to fucking discriminate against us Xbox gamers because it's only been rated for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4. It's PlayStation 4 got a fucking release and the Xbox didn't.
See, I think what's interesting is that from the material that they've already dropped, you'll see that the first name written in the Death Note book was Xbox.
That's not funny, man.
It was a little funny. Let's just be honest.
I will say that
I think it was very funny, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. But I will admit that this did trigger me to be is it time to watch Death Note again? Because this is a major Stephen Law time. But the first thing I ever bought with my McDonald's paycheck was the Death Note Complete DVD collection. Yeah, good times.
I should actually watch Death Note in full because
I know someone's got the DVD collection.
Zephlor time. I've tried to watch Death Note because everyone around me was watching Death Note, and then it's all the people that were watching Death Note
again. He's playing Sonic again. We can hear it. We can fucking hear it. You're playing Sonic again. I fucking knew it.
I don't even think he's paying attention.
He doesn't even care about Death Note.
I'm talking and listening while I'm doing this. But yeah, no, Zephlor time. I was watching. I went to go watch Death Note because everyone else around me was watching Death Note. And
then you realize it wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, everyone around me were those people that were just yeah, no, even though we're recommending you watch a show, we're going to tell you that L dies in the middle of the series anyway. It's well, what's the fucking point?
You know that there's spoilers. This is very off topic. I'm very sorry, Pat. Forgive us our sins. But this is very off topic. I don't really understand the thing about spoilers because if you understand the end, like that's one part, but it's the journey that's the real like the friends we made along the way type of thing. So like, who cares?
Yeah, but I don't want to know that a friend's going to die in the middle of the journey.
I do. Seth, unlike you, I care about my friends. I really want to know if they're going to die halfway through the journey, because then I can warn them, and I can be like, hey, don't walk in front of that bus. I don't care how funny I told you it was 5 minutes ago.
It's a canon event, though.
Oh, man.
But
I miss when that was brought up as a meme of like, this is a canon event and I can't stop it. I'm seeing it start to come back again, just off like a couple random things I've seen, but man, what a good meme format.
he's still fucking playing Sonic. He doesn't care about this. Is it the
US
Sonic and Shadow
election's gonna be a
Generations?
canon event, and I don't like this.
I am speedrunning the Sonic Generations part of it, so I don't have to worry about it later.
Oh, you want to speed around the news section of this week's episode as well, or?
Wait, so how? Oh my god, where is that noise coming from? I can hear it too. I've muted it.
I
muted the game. Where is that noise coming from?
I don't know, man. I literally could not fucking tell you. It's coming from you. That's all I know.
It would be so funny if Steve had started it just to fuck with you.
No, but then I'd have to actually purchase a Sonic game.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, so there's a new Death Note game coming out. We don't know what it looks like. It'll be coming soon. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. The point about spoilers, interesting. Only bit I'll say. There are times when, such as watching Game of Thrones, when all you've heard about are things like the wedding, and all of this stuff happens at the wedding, and then you see a wedding start, and you're like, oh, okay. I think I'm ready. I think I have braced myself adequately for what's about to happen. Not because it actually changes your overall experience with the show, but just that the experience of having zero knowledge of it, and it
I found out where the noise is
shock
coming
thing
from. When
that
I collect coins, it comes out of my fucking controller.
Pat, did you ask?
I don't know if I did, Steve.
Yeah,
did
because
you ask?
I clearly, because I wasn't saying anything, so it couldn't have been me.
Oh, you know what? It might have been Seth's controller asking.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But yeah, no, generally, I don't like to know about events that's going to happen. Like, yeah, sure, it's all about the journey, but I want to experience that journey clean. I don't like knowing bits and pieces about it beforehand.
That was basically where I was building towards anyway. But yes, I, generally speaking, agree. Next up, what have we got on its list? It is Xbox. Wait, that's not the right one. Yu-Gi-Oh! There we go.
Not funny.
Saved it.
This is even more discrimination because this isn't coming to fucking Xbox either. I'll talk about this
You
one
don't
'cause I
get
love
any
Yu-Gi-Oh!
games. When
Finally,
it's
role
when you're going to
PlayStation
learn if you
PS5.
want games from Japan, you're not going to get them.
Yeah? Not until you buy Japan. Why do you think I'm heading over there in January? I'm Phil Summers' honored envoy.
That's a horrifying thought.
Anyway, so Konami a million years ago announced Yu-Gi-Oh! The Early Days, which is a bunch of old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games for like the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and I think there's some for the PlayStation.
Can we just take a moment? I know there have been Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. I've probably played one or two of them. Couldn't tell you gun to my head which ones. I'm pretty sure I played one before. But
Well, there's like a million of them, so it's hard to remember.
no. But so yes, there's a million of them. But the frequency, is that every year from 1998?
Yeah, and that's that's so. I'm looking at the list now. This is only Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance ones. Like this isn't including any of the PlayStation or the PlayStation 2 games. That would have come out roughly at the same time.
That is like cracked frequency for a card game.
It is, but it's
Yeah,
it's very much in the same vein that like a couple years later, like there were like anime games that were coming out yearly. Like Naruto got a release. Like Naruto would have a game every year. Especially in Japan as well. There's like the Bleach Heat the Soul series. Every fucking year they'd get a release, and realistically, it's been like what 50 episodes to the anime at best. So they've really only introduced like 4 or 5 new characters. Like it's just simply to get money. The interesting
yeah,
thing
and
is
they
like,
also include cards with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games.
the physical editions as well, and sometimes they're like mega rare cards. Sorry, not cars.
So what you're telling me is that all Ubisoft needs to do is put very rare Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards with the physical versions of Assassin's Creed, and then everyone goes back to buying them every year?
Yes. But they also need to be able to make a new Assassin's Creed every year.
Yeah, I don't think we should recommend them to do that. I think with a card game, like it's very easy because you're just doing the same thing with just a different reskin. But yeah, so like
Steve, my buddy, my friend, my pal. What if I told you that's exactly what Ubisoft has been doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really funny comparison.
Who could say?
It's easy to make Yu-Gi-Oh games because it's the same game every year.
Well, Ubisoft is the problem. Is it's the same game, just including the same bugs. That's the problem. There's no quality control. So anyway, back to Yu-Gi-Oh. So they've announced like 8 games as part of this collection. No, it's even
funnier because they somehow fix a bug and then they do the same one that they did 10 years ago.
True.
In a completely unrelated game.
So yeah, they've announced like 8 games here from this like Duel Monsters in like 1998 up to Yu-Gi-Oh! Reshift of Destruction, which came out 2004. That came out for us in the West. I remember playing the Sacred Cards and Reshift of Destruction.
Tools of Destruction.
Nope. You got lost, man. That's a PlayStation 2 game. We're still talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Come on, man, focus. You gotta focus, man. You gotta take your meds, man.
He's paying less attention than me, and I'm the one playing Sonic.
He admits it. Who's keep making that sound?
I can't hide it. You could hear the rings.
Fucking idiot. But yeah, like I've most of these games I've actually played. I think actually maybe only half of them I played, and this isn't the complete list as well. So it'll be interesting to see what else they come up with. I hope they come out with, because a lot of these they're not traditional simulations. Like they've got their own like spin on the rules or the story or something. So like for example, Sacred Cards and Reshift of Destruction have like weird things that if like a fire monster attacks a water monster, it's automatically destroyed, and that's like regardless of attack points, and that's not real for the card game. So it'd be very interesting to see if they bring out the more traditional simulator ones. Like I think they're called the Worldwide Championship Series, which roughly would have probably started around the same time as this. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, pretty cool. It's only coming to the PlayStation and not PlayStation. Even they're not getting it this one. It's the Switch and PC. So it's coming out February 27th.
I can't believe us PlayStation gamers are getting oppressed like this.
What do you mean? You guys have never had a game
releasing something on Switch a month before the Switch comes out.
Yeah, that's not yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, very interesting. And like apparently they're going to be adding like online support afterwards, which I don't know why they'd be doing it afterwards. Like surely
can't believe they're adding a season pass.
Very odd they do it after.
Maybe they're gauging. You know what? Who cares? Who knows?
Halo Infinite introduced split screen in a later update, didn't they?
No, they didn't. They cancelled it.
Yeah, remember?
Fucking play along with one bit this episode, Seth. Jesus Christ, okay?
No, it's even funnier to know that they cancelled it. They failed to do it.
Yeah, just like I failed to make a fucking bit during this episode. Anyway, Vampire Survivors getting some DLC. Bunch of shit just in time for Halloween. Anyone still playing Vampire Survivors?
Not currently, but I might with this new DLC.
Yeah, seeing this DLC nearly got it for me.
They finally did Castlevania, the thing that everyone wanted them to do. After their last team up with Konami was
based on it.
Yeah, and their last team up with Konami was Contra.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't really have a huge amount to add to on this.
I think the trailer is very cute in how it's showing the Vampire Survivors characters, and then it's like, if you look in a mirror, here's their direct Castlevania inspiration. But no, this is a neat one because like it's replaced it. It's giving like 20 characters their Castlevania representative and 40 weapons. That's a pretty big deal for Vampire Survivors.
It is fucking huge. Okay, this is going to sound. This is going to be like a really, really weird criticism. There is already so much shit that I haven't done in Vampire Survivors. It's really fun. Don't get me wrong. I love just like randomly playing around with two every so often. But 40 plus weapons. It's already not a small feat to like get the weapons that I want for the build that I want going. I don't know. Do you ever think there's a point where there'd be too much content in something that has the Vampire Survivors gameplay loop?
No.
I'm conscious
because by the time you get to the end of the
like,
content, it just becomes a dopamine hit.
yeah, I'm conscious that like because I definitely remember when I was playing Vampire Survivors, and I 100%ed it. Towards the end, I'm like not burnt out by it, but it's very much the same fucking thing. So I don't know, man.
Very cool. Like I'm not taking away from it. I'm just saying, like, you know, how many times do they have to introduce another DLC pack with another shit ton of characters and weapons before we're like, okay, guys, it's getting a bit much. Having said that, Castlevania makes total sense given the original inspiration. So if there's ever going to be one big update, it might as well be this one. Anyway, it feels like a weird criticism to say. All I'm saying is I'm not immediately filled with excitement of the idea of, oh my god, my collectathon journey is not yet over.
I think that the final DLC needs to introduce a vampire.
Just
That's
like as a character, as an enemy.
Doesn't matter. Just have a vampire in there, since the entire joke of the game is that there's no vampires in Vampire Survivors.
Right, but the whole thing is Vampire Survivors. So if it was an enemy, you would either have to survive it, or if it's a playable character, other things would have to not let you kill them.
It's a vampire survivor.
There's a thread we could pull here, but I'm not going to indulge it. We're going to move on. Warhammer update. This is the one that I spoke about. Is there anything that I haven't touched on here? Oh, yeah. There's quite a few people talking about, well, not people talking about, but like I've seen it mentioned near the top of the patch list of we now have ultra-wide support. I mean, you know, great. Can't take that away from people, but I can't think of all the things that we really want from the game that ultra-wide support would have been that high up on the list. But maybe I'm just in the minority for how people play this.
Explain to me, a smooth brain, what ultra-lod is. Sorry, it's ultra-wide, you said.
Ultra-wide?
It sounded like, I'm sorry, it sounded like you said ultra-lod, and I was...
Put Sonic down, plees. Your family cares about you.
It's been paused for the past 5 minutes while I was talking about Vampire Survivors. No, it's I don't know. For some reason, I thought you said ultra lod, which is like level of detail, and I'm like, what? Did they just make far off models like 64 polygons? But no, ultra wide makes so much more sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I've touched on most of this. The only bit that I haven't touched on, because I don't know if it's out yet, is that we are expecting the Dark Angels cosmetic pack to come out soon. And for how good a lot of the Dark Angel stuff looks in Space Marine 2, I'm very excited for that. But I've sort of touched on the rest of this. There's the Bio Titan that is now available in the latest mission, and highest level of difficulty is now lethal rather than ruthless. They also mentioned in that same update Neo Volkite pistol, which I don't remember seeing. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. And there's also a little bit more on the roadmap for more stuff coming in the works, which, for how much money I hope that Saber is made off of this, I hope the content pipeline floweth, overrunneth. That's all I'll say. Next up, we have Tomb Raider news. Not the world's biggest Tomb Raider fan, so is the world's biggest or second biggest Tomb Raider fan in the building to talk us through what these updates mean?
I'll take it from here. So last year, I think it was, they released the Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remaster collection, which was all of the PS1 games, I believe, and Dreamcast games. So now they're doing the Tomb Raider 4 through 6 collection. And this is a very funny one because these are all bad, terrible games that almost killed the Tomb Raider franchise.
Ah, I see.
I'm glad they're being remastered for prosperity's sake and like keeping it like alive. But I don't know how many people are going to jump on this one. I will because I'm curious to see them.
You're insane.
I only have I have the slightest experience with Angel of Darkness, which is the 6th one, where it was like I played the game for 5 minutes. It glitched out so bad that the person I was with thought I broke their game.
Don't come back tomorrow.
It's pretty impressive. One thing that I'm just going to jump on because it reminds me of this, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, so a bunch of people talking about this. So it's not in the news, but Until Dawn had a remake that came out that so few people are talking about as like new. Hang on. a bunch of people are talking about the Until Dawn remake, but not because it's out and people have been playing it. They're talking about how it has actually flopped even worse than Concord for the, I think, year or 18 months this has been in the pipeline.
I believe it was like 1/4 of a Concord it sold.
Yes.
Yeah, it did not sell very well
I
at all.
also love that as a measuring system of how many Concords did something sell. Or how many fractions of a Concord did something sell.
Yeah. Fractions of a Concord. Yeah, this is one of those tough things. Because maybe we talked about this last week. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too long on this. But it's a little frustrating for me on this one because I really liked Until Dawn. I do really like Until Dawn. I already have it as the PS4 version on PS5 from that you bought a PlayStation, here's like a bunch of games to get you started, that thing that was out like during COVID lockdown. I don't remember what it was called, like the Essentials?
It wasn't even that, it was
was.
just like, hey, if you buy a PS5 and you have PlayStation Plus, you just get 20 games as an incentive for having PlayStation Plus.
Maybe that's what it was. Either way, I had Until Dawn. I think my brother actually does have the disc on like a PS4 that is probably at our parents' place now. But the point is, I've played Until Dawn a couple times. Really enjoyed it. If I wanted to play Until Dawn again, I still have the PS4 thing, which I don't remember looking that bad or like running that poorly. And two, I'm not going to go out of my way to purchase the remaster at full price when my fallback is the game that I effectively have for free. And the annoying part for me is that there'll be a bunch of people that say, this game flopped, therefore people don't care about these sorts of games, therefore we won't make these sorts of games. When if they had remastered, like, it's just the easy meme because it's what everyone's spouting online, but like, remaster a fucking Sly game, remaster a fucking Jack game, remaster the fucking Ratchet and Clank games, because those are available on PS3.
We've seen 4K footage of Tools of Destruction, and that doesn't exist in the playable form.
But those are my point. Like, you have this huge catalog, literally anything from Astrobot. Give us anything from Astrobot. Give us the nostalgia bait. We would buy it. It's just the Until Dawn. It's like the Horizon remasters of everyone going, "Who asked for this?" It feels like a weird decision that we're going to end up getting blamed for not doing well when it's just a weird decision. I don't know.
Do you reckon Astrobot's going to help these? I don't want to make this an Astrobot discussion again. But like with all the bots and stuff.
I know the point you're making. I think it has, because I've seen so much. Man, I yearn for the nostalgia days of like the old Scrambly Bengus platformers on PS2 type threads just online. And it's difficult because, you know, some people say that current year is the best year for gaming that we've ever had because of, you know, how well games can be doing. But there's also this huge untapped amount of nostalgia that if it had been preserved, or if you wanted to do some under the table things, you could go and experience it. But it's kind of like the Nintendo thing of people are more than willing to purchase like the ability to replay these old games. It's just for some reason someone decides, let's just dust off this otherwise perfectly good game from, you know, yesteryear and remaster that instead of something that has no other way of being playable en masse, and it's frustrating.
So I at least somewhat understand with Until Dawn because I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be the keeper of time here. That game's 10th anniversary is about to come up. And there's going to be a movie to coincide with that 10th anniversary, so this remaster was done because of that. The sad part though is I've seen many people look at the footage comparison between those games and think the PS4 version is a remaster because they think the PS4 version looks better.
Yeah, I've seen that with Life is Strange had a bunch of remasters somewhere in the past 12 months. Don't remember if we talked about them or not.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and every so often YouTube Shorts will be like, "Hey, here's like a random character comparison of weird blocky Unreal Engine model and weird blocky Unreal Engine model." And you sit there looking at it, you're like, which one of these was the remaster? Yeah, I think the difficulty isn't so much that it's 10 years old, because 10 years old is kind of meaningless for how long. Like, I'll put it a different way. because Until Dawn is available on PS4, and therefore you can purchase it if you so choose on PS5, it doesn't matter how old or new the game is.
I completely get that. I'm just being devil's advocate a little bit for that.
Yeah, no, in terms
like
of
that
having,
sense.
yeah, in terms of like having reasons for them to remake it, fine, but give us something, because at least I had my arm twisted in getting the remaster of Last of Us 2, because the idea of the roguelike game mode and a bunch of other things that they really made a point of saying this is the definitive way for it to be played, which I swear to God, if the PS6 comes out and I see there's a Last of Us 2 remaster with the tagline, this is the way the game is meant to be played, I'm going to do some unspeakable things to Neil Druckmann. But that's the bit that
I'm going to do
annoys
that
me,
anyway
is-
because of what he did to Jack and Daxter.
Okay. Yeah, valid. But that's the bit that annoys me, of like, every so often like we were just talking about, say, like Simpsons Hit and Run. Simpsons Hit and Run was like a weirdly unwieldy thing to go and try and find and play again, because it doesn't exist on anything you'd consider modern to be able to play it. And I'm not saying that it would go absolute gangbusters and you'd make $17 billion if you went and remastered it. But there's like a happy middle ground of games that so many people go, I remember playing that, I really want to play that again, I just don't have a way of playing that, to, yeah, Horizon was available on PS4, but like, I guess I'll buy it again at full price in a remaster form on PlayStation 5 for some reason.
Did I?
I don't know.
No,
Like,
I think we covered it
me in
last
the
week,
middle.
but holy shit, the price thing with Horizon's remaster is really scummy as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point
It's
as well. is that,
psychotic.
like, you know, you got to make your money back on whatever it is that you think you can get out of people for the development cost, whatever, fine. But like, Until Dawn is a single player experience that the experience itself probably hasn't changed across the 10 years, that charging full price to re-experience this thing that you still can experience if you still have the original media is weird. Like, if it were, say, half the cost on some kind of upgrade pack, like literally like what they did with Last of Us 2, then maybe I'm one of those people that buys it and plays it. But full price, I like, I'm what are you gonna do? You know, like, I'm not gonna drop $110 to just go, oh yeah, this game is exactly what I remember. Anyway, rant's over. It's just, it saddens me that so many of the headlines are like, Until Dawn has flopped even harder than Concord, and here are all these conclusions we can make based on this. And it's like, sure, but I think so much of the driving force for why we're at the point of these conclusions is that the decision to remaster this over other nostalgia bait off of how popular something like Astrobot was. Yes, this has been in the pipeline for longer than Astrobot came out, fine. You know, all these other things, fine. But don't hold this against some kind of weird metric for people aren't interested in Until Dawn. Because Until Dawn is great and everyone should go play it.
I'm
Just
on a
not
side
at
tangent as well
$110.
of Until Dawn doing bad. I'm a little concerned about that company, because I don't think many of their games since Until Dawn has been doing particularly well.
R.I.P. They're gone.
Not
The Dark Pictures anthology wasn't doing too great. I don't think that other game they did was very good. Like reception, I forget what it was called, but it was like a campfire, like a campfire game.
Were
I
they
don't know
the
what the
ones
fuck
that
you're talking
did
about.
The Mine?
The Quarry.
The Quarry,
thank
that's
you.
the one.
The
Yes.
Quarry.
Yeah,
Was
the
that
Xbox
them?
one. Yeah. Was it them? I didn't think it was.
No, it was.
hang
It
on.
was them.
It does play very much like a similar sort of
You
game
sure
to
it's by
Until
Supermassive?
Dawn. I don't know. I enjoyed both. I think it's difficult because it's, again, it's one of those weird things of like, how do you measure success? Because is it considered a
Oh
success
yeah, it is,
if
the team behind
Yeah, and they did
Until
the Dark
Dawn. Yeah,
Pictures
you're right.
as well.
Yeah, sorry. Who am I thinking?
yeah,
I
because
think
I
Two
really
Giant
liked
or
Until
something.
Dawn. I quite liked The Quarry as well. Like I've played through both those. I've been interested in some of the Dark Pictures anthology stuff. I haven't pulled the trigger on any of them, but I've seen a few people play bits of them, and they seem interesting. Not super up my alley, just because I love the theme of Until Dawn, and it was one of those moments of like a friend and I were just like wondering what we were going to do for an afternoon, and neither of us remember buying The Quarry, and we just had it. It must have been a PS Plus thing. And so we're like, fuck,
see,
I
I
guess we're
have it
playing
on
PS Plus.
Steam, and I don't know how it got there.
Yeah, similar kind of thing. And it's fine. And so because they're very single player experiences, it's kind of hard to say whether or not the games did particularly well, because I know a lot of people that have played them, and a lot of people have said that the games, you know, are are fine and like fine to good, like recommend other people go play them. It's whether, like, I guess if you had told me that they had made a string of games that were critical failures and everyone knows about them and says, oh, those games were shit, you know, like the easy to dunk on, like Ubisoft Train and everything else at the moment, I'd be like, yep, they're probably in a rough spot. But as far as I can tell, all of their recent games have been to the point of fine that they aren't super newsworthy. And it's weird that I can understand that that would be considered a failure, because now we're judging success by break, smash, out, hit, earn $70 billion for company type.
Or
standards.
is it a Concord?
Or is it a Concord? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have no reason to believe that the Quarry did badly for them, but
at the same time, I've never heard anyone talk about it, and I don't know how it got in my library.
Surely that means you bought it.
It's the U2 album on iTunes thing.
Oh, you will play the game. Yeah, like
I've played the Quarry. I played the Quarry. I enjoyed the Quarry. I recommend.
Would you buy a remastered version
and enjoy the Quarry?
Would you buy a remastered version? Ah, okay.
And give me a roguelike or let me play as the werewolf.
Maybe next time. Yeah, I don't know. These are games that are like similar to like Heavy Rain and like Detroit Becoming Human, aren't they? Like there's very little game. It's like American VN, visual novel type of stuff.
Hamburger VNs.
I say that I really like Detroit Becoming Human and what was that one they made after Heavy Rain? One with Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe. Beyond Two Souls. That's a fucking go game.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's a different development team.
I think Beyond would have been better if they told that story in a linear way instead of going back and forth.
Dog shit way of telling the story. Fun fact about Steve, and I've been trying to watch a bit more movies. So I watched that Memento movie like 2 weeks ago, that Christopher Nolan movie where it's told backwards.
Where was this in Around the Lounge?
This is a video game podcast, sir.
We've talked about movies plenty of times on here.
Yeah, I never have. I'm not a movie guy, but I'm trying to be. But yeah, Memento was a good movie, but because it's told backwards and you know it's being told backwards. But Beyond Two Souls had that problem where it was fucking jumping all over the place. So like one part she's homeless, and it goes back 10 years ago, and she's just mega CIA girl, and then jumps like 20 years into the future, and like she's about to finish the fight. Like it didn't make any sense.
The PS4 version actually fixes that as well. You can play it in a linear fashion. I wonder if that upset David Cage.
I'm sure
it's really funny. Like, is the story too fucky? Turn the setting on.
Don't like how he told the story.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Right as an email. No, I think I'm trying to like reformulate my thoughts on the fly, which never fucking goes well. I think what I'm trying to say with the is it a success, is it a failure thing, we are so used to seeing companies pour enough resources that they come out and state, this is our like flagship thing that will be the platform or the thing that earns us money for the next 5-ish years. Your Halo Infinites, your Starfields, your Kill the Justice League, what were the other? There was like, there's been about like 5 or 6.
Our Concords.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Seth. Yes, the Concords. But my point is, there's been like 5 or 6 just in the past year where, actually, Infinite's now much older than that. Man, time's a blur. But the point is, a whole bunch of companies have come out and said, oh, fucking, the pirate game, the Skull and Bones.
Oh yeah, that came out.
I'm going to the one that's actually bad.
Yes, but my point is,
no, because it's like the other pirate game did well, and that was Sea of Thieves.
Yes. But the point is, we're so used to seeing headlines of company brings out this game and they say this will be the thing that gives us like all of our development efforts have gone into this thing, which we are banking on being a live service smash hit, and it falls on its face. Oh, bloody Forspoken and a few other ones in there. I'm just thinking of them randomly now as they come back up.
Forspoken was actually, to be fair to Forspoken, that was just a single player game. That was the president of the company's pet project.
Sure.
Well, it wasn't a service game.
Right. It's easy to point at the live service games, but Forspoken also had that similar thing of So I'm just thinking of it was a tweet or a I still don't know what the right word is, a zeet, whatever the fuck. For I think it was Kill the Justice League, where it was like import an update for Kill the Justice League, and the guy's like, you could have just DM'd them.
Yeah,
it's like
there's gonna be
current players. Yeah, literally.
Very sad. Very sad.
Anyway, the point is, we're used to seeing headlines where it is so clear that a game has critically failed on every metric, and I don't know why I'm still hung up on this point about like The Quarry and Until Dawn and those sorts of games. I guess I want to go into bat for them because I enjoy those games, even though I play them once and probably wouldn't get a remaster unless I couldn't play the older version. But I haven't seen any headlines to suggest anything like that. And I don't know whether to interpret no news as good news or no news as bad news anymore, because we live in this weird, are you a Concord or are you a Vampire Survivors? Or bloody Power World, or Helldivers.
No, not that one.
Marine.
They're being sued.
We don't know if they'll win.
Yeah, but we don't want to wish other developers, the Nintendo lawyers.
True. No, that's a good point. I retract that. Thank you, Seth. I feel like we should move on to the next article, but
We
anyway,
should. We've been
all I'm
yapping
trying
about
to
this
say
for a
is-
bit.
Yeah.
This is supposed
And
to
we
be
Haven't
need
short.
to
seen
talk
anything.
about another pirate game.
Haven't seen
bugger.
anything that suggests that it's doing poorly. I hope they are doing well enough to continue making games like that for me at reasonable prices on platforms that I can play them on and don't need to buy the remaster for. Or at least if I did buy the remaster, give me a roguelike version or let me play as the villain. Okay, now I'm done. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza. Let's go.
It's getting delayed. Not delayed.
No, it's
it's
not.
coming out
The
a week
opposite.
earlier because it's coming out a week earlier because development on that game is going so smoothly that they feel like they should get out of the way of Monster Hunter Wild's release date because they
You
were
know
coming
what?
out the same day.
True.
There is something, I don't know what RGG Studios is doing, but it's just they fucking cannot stop winning.
They reuse
Like
assets.
Dragon yeah, but like, but that's
They
in a
work
good way.
smarter, not harder.
Yeah, but like,
Like,
I've heard they use AI in all of their projects.
Actually,
Mm,
you know what?
see-
You brought that up. I'm going to bring it up here right now.
Here we
I
go.
think the company is called Nihon Falcon, or it's
I
just
don't know.
Falcom. They do the Ease games. They do the Trails games. Quite a few RPGs. I think it was their president just came out and said, "Yeah, no, we're looking into doing AI translation of our scripts because we want to get the games out in English faster." And everyone's looking at that, going, "No, don't." You have people that localize your games. Just give them the scripts faster.
Yeah, and machine translations will always be dog shit. Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't care about that. But I don't
His
care about
idea
those
is like
games.
we're going to do machine translation for AI translation first, and then have localizers touch it up. And it's like at that point, just let the localizers do their job and do it from scratch.
Yeah, all they're probably doing
But
is just
you
making sure it
would
makes
get
sense.
very funny content, though.
Very sad content.
It'd probably be very red hot content as well. You'd have like sentences that just don't make sense. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't care about that. So they've brought Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. What a dumb fucking name. Big surprise.
No, it's such a good
Um,
name.
I hate it. But they brought it forward because to February 21st, like because it did clash with Monster Hunter, as they've said. But they also showed off a bit more the general gameplay in the Xbox Partner Showcase. And this game is just fucking Assassin's Creed 4, but with Yakuza, which does seem very cool. I'm
It's
very,
all people
very interested.
wanted from Skull and Bones.
Yeah, and it took a very different developer making a very different game to kind of. Well, at the same time, the game's not out yet. Let's see, but if they've pulled it off, I kneel. I fucking kneel. They've done everything. Of all the game development or series studios you thought were going to make an Assassin's Creed 4 game, the Like a Dragon series was very close to the bottom of the list. Like, you could have told me Sonic is making a pirate game, I would have believed you before this.
No.
I don't know. They've already
Forza.
done a Persona game for middle-aged people.
Steve, hear me
So,
out.
one more time.
Forza Horizon 6.
That's not a pirate game, it's a card game. You both lost me. You both said things I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
I'm saying the RGG Studios did Persona for middle-aged people, so they can do anything.
Nah, not really. Not really, Seth. You haven't played it. What were you saying, Pat?
That Playground Games might just dabble in the old pirate ship game.
Oh, that's what you meant. But I'd actually argue that that's probably closer than like a Japanese gangster game because like what are like pirate ships other than cars on the water?
You know what?
Thoughts?
When you're right, you're right.
I think you just cleared all my thoughts. Like you made my head empty from that statement.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm still trying to get the 100% for Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon. That is. Fuck! I've got to grind a shit ton of that fucking game. Holy shit. But that's fine. We're all gonna make it.
Cool. We good to move on?
I'm good to wake up, Pat. You got something for that?
I do actually, because there's a Monster Hunter Wild showcase that starts in a measly 27 hours.
That's not the next article, my friend, but that's fine.
No, it's not. But I just want to jump on that now.
Important.
Yeah, and we just wanted to talk about shit getting out of the way of Monster Hunter Wilds.
This fucking guy.
I'm so keen. God, I want that bike and that guitar.
Is it time for Patrick to learn how to play guitar? Some say yes.
Yeah. That's that exact message I've sent to all my Monster Hunter like playing friends of like, I guess it's time for me to learn to play guitar. You know, the thing is, luckily none of them is so up in the fact that you can also get a fucking bicycle by pre-ordering it that I'm waiting for someone to respond. Bet you it's also time for him to learn to ride a bike. But jokes on them, I do know how to ride bikes, that's fine. But no, playing a guitar would be sick. Playing a Monster Hunter guitar, very sick. Playing a Monster Hunter guitar themed after one of the hunting horns like Bizarrios Rock from the hit game Monster Hunter, the sickest of all.
Yeah, why is it a Rathalos guitar? They have the Zenoga one right there.
There are lots of questions, Seth. We are going to move on. Switch 2 is getting a bump because Nintendo has released a $100 interactive alarm clock.
I love all the jokes about this alarm clock where it's like it's going to be just like the Guardians from Breath of the Wild, where if you don't wake up in time, you just hear their like encounter jingle and you start getting lock-on markers all over your face.
Yeah. That's good.
Is that all we're going to talk about for Alamo?
Is that all we're going to talk about? If any of you guys buy this thing, I'm shooting you.
You sounded so excited for it a moment ago until we had that Monster Hunter side tangent.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I think I realized that I just could not care less about this. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. So this year, and
we got him started.
I begged you. Hey, you asked. I
asked about the Alamo, not the side tangent.
What do you think I'm talking about, Alamo? So from my understanding, and this may be the incel in me coming out.
Oh boy.
So this product. So Alamo is essentially an alarm clock. An alarm clock that like wakes you up playing Nintendo music. It uses weird, I think it's like micro something technology or something. And like if you like toss and turn, it will like snooze or like play louder to get you out of bed. I think is it microwave technology? Something technology.
I am very certain it's not microwave technology.
It's some sort of motion detection.
I'm going to Google it. Used by alarm. Micro technology used by Alamo. But essentially it doesn't work if you've got someone else in your bed.
An alarm clock specifically made for single Nintendo children.
Children.
And children.
They know the exact target audience.
Yeah, and it...
holy shit.
It's a wave presence. It's a millimeter wave presence center. It's a wave motion sensor. It sounds like you
okay. Gotcha.
So and that's how it works, and it detects when you're there and stuff. But I can the million years ago when I did have a partner. Imagine if I got this, like, she would have called me a loser. But that's not the point. Imagine having one of these, and you bring a girl home from the club, and she's like, "Is that a fucking Nintendo Alamo?" And she packs her stuff up and leaves.
She just says, "Is that Alamo?" And you're like, "You know what Alamo is?" And she goes, "Yep," and then leaves.
Red flag behavior.
And then you're like, "But you didn't even see the race car bed."
I've got all the RGB lights.
Please Razer X Nintendo Alamo.
No, but I could just like imagine if you did want this and you did have a partner or if you've got like kids or something and the kids like go into your bed because they're dumbass kids. Like it might like ruin it and stuff. Like it just seems like it's alienating a bunch of people. For like no reason.
Yeah, it's designed for single people.
I don't know.
See how I hoped that this would work is that they play very, very licensed, definitely not copyright free Nintendo music, and then if you don't snooze it in time, the wake up call turns into Nintendo lawyers at your door smashing it down.
You emulating in here?
Yeah, no, I wanted to have like a USB-C cable, so they incentivize you to go and update it with new Nintendo sounds, because I think that was the thing they said they were going to do.
So it will be getting updated with more Nintendo music, like Xenoblade Chronicles and is it?
But like the 3DS, I imagine it'll be very easy to hack, and that's when the Nintendo lawyers come in. They detect you using the sonic ring noise as an alarm.
It's actually just a controller, Seth. But yeah, it's very interesting. Like that Nintendo, of all the hardware things they could have announced, it's a fucking clock. I, for one, will be very disappointed when Nintendo has copyrighted clocks. So if you can tell the time in your house, you're going to get sued.
Yeah, it'll happen. I hate it when that happens.
And this is going for 159 Australian dollars. Like, and you've still got to fucking do a ballot for it. Holy shit. I don't know. I think I'm just ranting at this point. It seems like a dumb fucking product.
Okay. Whether or not that's true.
Is this being fucking scalped on eBay? I'm going to look it up.
Probably.
God, I hate scalpers so much. Not EB Games, whoops.
Whether or not this is true, it would be amazing to go back in time to like the old like 1890s salarymen that ran Nintendo back before it was like anything like the Nintendo we know today. And you show them two images. One of them is this alarm clock, and the other one is like some weird, and the other one is like
it's Pyra from Xenoblade. the one shot of Pyra.
That's a good still image, actually. Yeah, we'll take that. And you're like, which of these do you think your company that currently only makes decks of cards is more likely to move towards?
Insane behavior. Also, there is a Alamo new inbox on eBay for 399 Australian bucks. Free watches. I'm gonna fucking nuke the people that are watching this. And this fucking God, I hate scalpers so much. You know what? Real estate agents, landlords, scalpers. First people up against the wall when the revolution comes.
I can get behind that.
Seller feedback.
We get to move
verified purchase. No, we'll never be good. I fucking hate this. I'm barking at the TV. Okay, we can move on now.
Cool. Well, next thing definitely won't have any tangents. The Pokemon leaks.
I feel like we got it all out of our system at the first part of the podcast. We don't need to linger too long, but Typhlosion is definitely not like us.
I think we're.
Yeah.
So what happened? Game Freak received a phishing.
It would probably take a bit to like really.
You still there? Did I just cut out?
You might have been like your audio might have been lagging on our end, but you're here now.
Shit's getting funky hearing you from our end.
Oh shit! Sorry. Well, just bear with me. All the best. But yeah, so essentially, a Game Freak employee got phished, and so someone's been able to worm their way in and literally just fucking harvest so much stuff from like the Game Freak internal surveys, including things like concept art from like pretty much decks from Gen 3, I think up to Gen of just all these beta sprites, cancelled Pokemon, and like redesign. Pretty interesting because there's some things in there that I'm like, that Pokemon's really cool. And then there's other things that's like the person who thought of that Pokemon, and it's probably for the best that this thing never sees.
Is this fucking on your end too, Seth? Like this is...
Yeah, no,
Awful
I'm really
online.
hoping that on Steven's side this sounds very normal on his
Yeah.
audio because I cannot make any of this out.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh shit! Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
It says it's been recording the whole time, so I assume it's all right. Like, am I just like breaking up and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I assume your audio is going to be fine in post, but right now, as we're listening to it, we can't understand shit, my friend.
I don't know. Do we just assume that Stephen was? Sorry, just some absolutely fucking unhinged tweets on some of these links. Did we assume that he was able to regale the story of all of the interesting parts about the leak coming out? Because I don't know. It's fun to meme on the like highlights of it, but digging through everything feels a bit shitty because it is leaked info.
You know, we won't dig through everything, but just on the off chance that he didn't cover everything before we cut him off, I'll just do like a very quick abridged version of the story. So yes, someone at Game Freak potentially got hacked. And like the Insomniac leak, everything in their internals got dug up by some leaker. They're putting it up for ransom, and they like it covers everything from like concept designs from the original anime, work in progress sprites from Gens 3, 4, and 5 games, design bibles and lore details for Pokemon, like actual minutes and like meeting recordings for all of the like internal meetings that Game Freak did. The code name for the Switch 2. And then like the actual really bad part is they got like employee details, like their passports, their bank account details and things like that. And that's the stuff that they're like holding for ransom. They also know the plans for the future Pokemon games. And they're like, hey, we'll leak these if a certain Twitter leaker just deactivates their account because we really don't like them. But yeah, very, very shitty situation for Game Freak. Not sure how they're going to handle this. Also, for context, for all of the like little bits and jokes we've been going throughout, Gen 4 had this line in the Japanese script where they were like, hey, so in ancient times, people and Pokemon used to get married. And so part of like that like lore bible for Gen 4 was like, here's a bunch of folklore tales that of Pokemon and people together. Take the word together as far as you want. And it was just like all messed up stuff that's like not official Pokemon lore, but it was just like them building on that idea internally.
Seth, I have to ask you this honestly. Are you revving a power drill in the background?
No, my dog is barking at me.
I wondered what that sound was. Am I coming through good now? Probably not.
Little wobbly.
I'm pretty sure you just said it.
rails.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hotspot off my phone. It do be like that sometimes though. But yeah, this is like Christmas for us
God.
Pokemon fans. I fucked up again, haven't I? Hang on, I'll leave and then rejoin.
I love how I go, yeah, no, this is very dire for the Game Freak fans, and then Steven's first words back, besides "Am I sounding okay?" is, "Yeah, this is Christmas for Pokemon fans."
I was gonna make holy shit. I was gonna make a joke about something about like the dead rat mode in Alamo for waking up particular streamers, and I see that Asmongold's been banned.
Oh yeah, it took a couple of days, but he got nuked off Twitch.
Yeah, no,
I don't think you
I'm
can
just-
even type his name on Discord.
Shit, no, I'm just it was a related story on one of the ones that we've been discussing, so I've just been catching up on it. But damn,
All right, I'm back. I should be good. I'm hotspotting off your oldie phone now. Am I good?
yeah, that's much better.
Okay, wonderful. Right on. Hopefully, anyway, it doesn't matter what I think about this. Where do we end up? Like we talking about how like we're fucking Typhlosion now? What's the deal?
I hope not. Artillery though. Hang on.
Oh, hang on. But why would you not bring that back to your house? Like what? Yeah, it's insane. And did you guys have you guys read those stories? They're pretty fucking red hot. Like
I read the
Slack-
Typhlosion and the Ursa Ring one and the Rapidash one. Not Ursa Ring, Slack Off.
Yeah, the Slack Off one's fucked. Proper seek God. Actually all of them are seek God, but the slacking Slack Off one is maybe go in person. And I do appreciate that these were never supposed to see the light of day. But
sorry, see God go in person. Might be the hardest 1-2 punch I've heard in months.
But yeah, I've always very much wondered what's going on in the internal discussions that goes on inside Game Freak and with the Pokemon company to how they try to set out these generations and next steps and all that kind of stuff and how they get the lore right. But these type of you see these things and it's oh yeah, all right. You're obviously thinking of a darker theme and even thinking of the concept art that's come through for X and Y and they've shown there's a concept art of this big war going on and there's what looks to be blood in a couple of the the sketches. It's just very interesting how there's this push and pull of Pokemon, this all ages game, but then you've got people, whether they're just small artists in Game Freak or if these are the producers like Junichi Masuda or whatever the other producer's name is. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But it'd be very interesting to see if they want to do something like that, something a bit more adult, but they're getting silenced by the people that want to make kid friendly games. But
I while you were gone, I touched on it a little bit, but it was in Gen 4 specifically, they said, yeah, no, in ancient times, people in Pokemon got married, and all of this was probably
There's
all of this was
BDSP,
probably exploring that idea internally, but it was never meant to actually be revealed. This is ancient yokai stories for Pokemon.
Yeah, and it fleshes it out a bit, but I said it before, my internet got all wobbly, so maybe you could do some. Man, the Nintendo ninjas are getting me for talking about this. But regardless of all the lore implication, all that kind of stuff, but this is Christmas time for the ROM hack community because a lot of that source code did come out. So I'd say within the next 2 years or something, it becomes a renaissance. For because a lot of the ROM hacks are using Pokemon Emerald as kind of their base, but with the release of the black and white source code and the X and Y source code, maybe not X and Y because 3D modeling is a bit harder for the community, but for definitely the black 2, white 2, the sprites, the 2D plane, or even Hard Gold Soul Silver, they might be able to do something with them. And I've said numerous times that maybe not on this program because I don't want to get shot, but Pokemon ROM hacking is fucking GOAT of all time. But yeah, interesting times at Game Freak. And Nintendo hasn't come out and said anything. Or the Pokemon company hasn't come out and said anything about it. Nintendo did post something in the Japanese Twitter account, I think, saying that oh yeah, Game Freak's had a breach, but that's kind of it.
Game Freak, am I right?
To me, it's just called Game.
You're so quick with that it's actually concerning.
You made that joke before in Messenger.
Yeah.
True. We good to move on from Pokemon leaks?
Yep.
Yeah. I've said my piece on it.
Yeah, cool. Also, just noticing in passing, just because a bajillion related PC Gamer articles flip up, didn't realize Let Me Solo Her got banned by FromSoft for 6 months. Do you guys know this?
I did not actually, which is odd since they celebrated him. Well, Namco did.
Yeah. So he got banned because he modded Fortnite dances into the game, and so the anti-cheat picked up his account and banned it for 6 months.
Oh, that's silly.
And so now, as of, what are we at, 4 days ago? He's a free man. He's back, maybe. Good for him. Yeah, just a quick little bit of lighthearted news. But no, I didn't realize he got banned. Glad that he's back. Love his work.
I hope he's still soloing her.
True. Cool. We are going to move on to the sad news. Little Big Planet 3, the only one that is currently still alive from that colossal Little Big Planet leak, or not leak, damn it, hack that took down like all of just Little Big Planet networking. What was that, like 5 years ago now?
I think even more recent than that, like 2 years ago.
Was it that recent? I thought it was before COVID. Am I crazy?
It might have been. I'm not entirely sure on the timeline on that one.
Anyway, hackers got and murdered Little Big Planet 1 and 2 and all of the community content. Hold on, there's related links. Searching, bacticulating, enhancing. Okay, an article from April saying that they've basically just lost a bunch of content, but yeah. Okay, no, it might be more recent than that. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, point is, hackers got and murdered Little Big Planet 1 and 2, and it seems like Sony is now putting the nail in the coffin Little Big Planet 3. Sad times.
Very sad, and that was the last bastion for all the Little Big Planet 1 and 2 created maps and levels.
Yeah. I still have the Sackboy plushie from the whatever edition, like the Steelbook edition or whatever it was for Little Big Planet 2, because I love Little Big Planet 1, and as soon as I saw the trailer for Little Big Planet 2, I was in. That was bloody Sleepyhead by Passion Pit on the trailer track. What a song.
Yeah, I had that same sort of reaction. I saw the grapple hook in Little Big Planet 2, and I was like, yeah, no, this looks insanely better than the original. And I really liked the original. I almost had the Ace Every Level trophy. It was just one of those last levels that really fucks me.
Yeah, no. I remember just grinding towards the last couple levels to get. I'm pretty sure I did end up getting it. But Little Big Planet 2 just looked like an improvement on everything from Little Big Planet 1. I was super keen as soon as they announced it.
Yeah. And I still haven't played Little Big Planet 3 myself. I've got it, but I think I've got the PS3 version of the game. I really wanted to play it on PS4. But I'm going to have to track down a disc copy now. Because I can't get it digitally.
Yeah.
Or I won't be able to soon.
You ever going to play it?
Yeah. Little Big Planet's a fun game.
When was the last time you played it?
Oh, fuck. When did Little Big Planet 2 come out?
Little Big Planet 2? That would have been like,
7 million years ago.
2010, maybe?
12? No. It was after 2010. I want to say 2011 or 2012. Where are we at?
It wouldn't have been 2012 because 2012 was PlayStation All-Stars, and that had Sackboy representing multiple, like his Little Planet 2 stuff. So I feel like it had to be out for a while by then.
Original Little Big Planet was 2008, which I genuinely thought was later than that, so that's already off to a bad start. And Little Big Planet 3 was 2014. Holy shit, okay. Doesn't tell me Little Big Planet 2. I'm gonna have to look this up. Damn it. What do we got? It came out in 2011.
Okay, 2011. It was in the middle of both. Well, you guessed 2011, but you also went 2012. So I'm putting that as the middle of both our guesses.
Great game, though.
Very fun.
Anyway, yeah, no, this is the nostalgia bait that I'm talking about. Sad to see it go. Hate to watch it leave. But yeah, being removed from the PlayStation Store, sad times. Next week,
all the DLC associated with it too. Like they're just destroying everything Little Big Planet related.
Yeah, but there's some video that you can go and watch in terms of like a deep dive as to what happened with the hack. But apparently, it was just like a monumental networking fuck up on mostly on Sony's part. I think that some absolute fucking cretin was able to just get in and just Control-A delete just a shit ton of like everything that it took them. I think, if I'm remembering bits of the story correctly, they brought down Little Big Planet 1 and 2, and then for a couple months, I think, Sony tried to get 1 and 2 online again, and they just couldn't. I don't remember the reasons as to why or what, but it was just so extensive that the damage that they said we'll try and pull as much as we can into Little Big Planet 3, and 1 and 2 are just sort of dead in the water.
Yeah,
Sad times.
It felt like there was basically nothing they could do. And now, ending Little Big Planet 3 just ends Little Big Planet's legacy.
It does for the user-generated content, but there's still Sackboy's Big Adventure or whatever that I think is PS4 or PS5.
PS4 and PS5. But yeah, no, like, I mean specifically for the user-generated stuff. That was like the big key thing for the Little Big Planet identity.
Yeah. I remember gun to my head, can't remember the YouTube channel name, but I used to watch a lot of his content about custom Little Big Planet levels that he was making. My man went and made fucking Minesweeper in Little Big Planet. I think it was 2. And I just thought that was the coolest shit ever.
I remember someone making Final Fantasy 7 battles in it.
Jesus Christ.
And the thing is, now you see that people make like 8-bit computers in Redstone and Minecraft. And you're like, oh yeah, I guess. Yeah. But
play Doom in Minecraft.
Yeah, but it's just different. I don't know. Shit hits different.
Oh, well, we'll get him next time.
We will. Hope Sackboy makes a comeback. Can't wait for the $250 PS5 remaster of Little Big Planet Horizon.
I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to tell you this, Patrick. There's no easy way to say it, but Astrobot killed Sackboy.
Quick, hit him with the funny little guy button.
Funny little guy button. Yeah. Anyway,
it's the fucking Circle Tunes HD. Love that,
don't
man.
Know that reference.
I'll find you the video later. Next up, God of War TV news. Departure of showrunner and producers. I honestly don't even remember if I knew that this was a thing.
I believe we talked about a little bit where it was like, they're planning a God of War TV show, they're planning a Horizon series, they're doing Twisted Metal. It was back when they announced all of them before Twisted Metal had even come out.
Yes. Yeah. Now it's all coming back.
And they were all through different labels or whatever you call
streaming services.
Streaming services, yeah. It was like one's through Amazon, one's through Peacock, one's through Hulu.
Oh, well, shotgun approach.
But yeah, God of War's not looking good.
But big surprise, video game TV show in development hell.
Twisted Metal was apparently really good. I watched the first 3 episodes and I enjoyed that.
Must have been good if you didn't finish it.
It was because I was watching it with someone else and we never went back to finish it off because things got busy.
Ooh,
have to watch it by yourself then.
Busy, huh? Interesting.
Not that busy.
Not that busy.
Fair enough. Can't wait for Eli Roth to pick this project up out of the trenches in like 2 years.
God, no.
Yeah, sad news, but also
Jack
not
Black
super
plays
unexpected. What do you mean, Jack Black plays fuck the head. God damn it, I've forgotten his name. Mimir, yeah.
I think this is like a God of War, like from like retelling of like the first God of War, not from like Ragnarok.
I don't know, with how they've been pushing the Ragnarok version of Kratos in God of War, I think they'd go for that.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
That's the one with a lot more story focus in it than the originals.
No, they talk about it. They were like, where are we? So it was revealed it was a live action series set in the Norse realm of Midgard. So very much 2018 era. It also says here, get fucked Steve. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how's you God of War movie doing, PlayStation? Get fucked,
movie,
PlayStation.
TV show.
Not only do we not have games, we also not have live action movies. Truly, we are the most suppressed gamers.
Halo got 2 bad seasons of TV before we got 1.
The first one wasn't bad. The first one was I need to watch season 2.
Master Cheeks. Next up, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC January 2025.
Also, a soft confirmation, there's no DLC plans for the game. Which is a little weird.
You want to expand on that? Because was that wrapped into some DLC news or like a roadmap update recently?
No, so people complicated story. So going back to the Insomniac leaks, people dug up that Spider-Man 2 did have a planned DLC roadmap. And also going back to Spider-Man 1, that did have a DLC roadmap called The City That Never Sleeps pack, where they followed Black Cat and another villain I forget the name of. He's like a mafia boss. So people just kind of assumed that Spider-Man 2 was going to follow that footsteps, especially because there's a bunch of side missions in the game that set up for DLC or a side game. But yeah, leaked internals don't matter. Official announcements do. And so Spider-Man they're like Spider-Man 2's PC announcement also included them saying we have no plans for story DLC. So I'm assuming whatever plans they had for DLC is being rolled into another game later down the road.
Cool. Well, yeah, anything else worth hitting on this bit then?
Very interesting that the PC port's happening this fast because it'll be like 14 months after the game came out on PS5, which is the quickest a PC port has happened for a PlayStation 5 to PC conversion.
Am I insane thinking that they wanted to do like a year-on cadence? Or is that that might be something else like
it was
Epic
about a
Games
2-year cadence, but like if it was a third party, it was 1 year. And I'm assuming because this is Marvel, they also got the 1 year cadence rule.
Interesting. Anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one comes out. Next up, Tales of Kenzera Zao Team. Got some funding struggles. This seems like bad news. I don't know much about this one. What's the story of this one?
Tales of Kenzera was a game they showcased at, I think it was the Game Awards last year. An actor, I'm sorry, I forget it. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he also voiced the main character of Assassin's Creed Origins. Abubakar Salim. His tweet's right here. Abubakar Salim. He came out. He gave like this big speech about how this game meant a lot to him because his father passed away, and he took that grief and channeled it into a game about like his culture.
Yes. I do remember this. Yes, I completely. Like, the names don't sink in much, but as soon as I saw the image, yeah, I know exactly which one this is.
Yeah, and it seems like a good game. I want to get to it. I haven't gotten around to it just yet, because a lot of games came out this year, if people didn't notice. So it just kind of got buried in the wayside. But yeah, no, it seems like a good game. It's reviewed decently well, like in the 70s range. So it just seems like, yeah, after they release that, they're not able to get funding for a new game, but they've got like a prototype working, and they're just looking for someone to give them money. But until then, they've unfortunately had to put their team on notice that some people might have to be laid off in redundancies just because they don't have the funding to pay them.
Right.
Which that's sad news. It's a type of news you don't want to hear for like a small studio.
No. Yeah. Anything else worth touching on? Or we move on.
No, I think that's the main meat of that story. I hope they find the funding soon so that like their team is safe.
Yeah, it's good that they've kind of been like, yeah, cool, like trouble's coming.
Yeah, like giving people the heads up is appreciated.
Yeah.
It might be cool. Yeah, who cares? Hopefully it all works out. All the best.
Speaking of laying people off, Riot decides that the League of Legends could do with a few less legends in their league, laying off yet more people, which this must be, what, the fucking 5th time this year?
Yeah, something like that. I feel like we've talked about Riot specifically multiple times.
Yeah.
Them and Bungie.
Well, because like Riot had that massive one about 6 months ago where they said that they were going to like freeze. They were like, don't worry, Arcane Season 2, unaffected. Everything else, basically axed.
Yeah, everything except for the fighting game.
Yeah, except the fighting game. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like, God, man. This is weird, semi-related story, because I work in tech. I was at a bloody dentist appointment recently, and the person was like, oh, like, what sort of work are you in? Like, oh, I'm in software. And she was like, oh, that must just be rough at the moment.
Yeah, everyone knows.
Jesus Christ, why would you say that?
She's not wrong.
No, that's the thing. It's just like,
you
joke
don't
about
say
it.
Like... Like when I say that I work for the government, everyone's like, oh, I hate the government, but that is what it is.
You're like, yeah, me too. That's why I'm taking it down from the inside.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson
So
over here.
some of us is making a difference. You guys just complain. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you're at the dentist and this lady's like, yeah, you wrestled your job, big champ.
I mean, that was the implication. I mean, she was nice about it. It was like the like grandmotherly like doting of like, oh, you know, like poor you sort of thing. And you're like, I mean, you know,
I haven't been laid off yet.
Yeah, you're here to drill some holes in my teeth. Let's not jump to conclusions here. No, it was just very funny that it was like just immediate like it wasn't like oh, what's that like, or like, oh, you know, that must be an interesting field of work. It's just like, oh, buddy, you're fucked. Bro's absolutely cooked sitting in my fucking dentist chair. Anyway, yeah, fucking.
She might as well be telling you to put the fries in the bag.
Put the holes in the teeth, lady.
Put the teeth in the bag.
Ah. Put the teeth in.
Oh man. Anyway, so you might be thinking, man, Riot must just be really trying to save money if they're laying all these people off. Not so. Because Riot, despite laying fuck tons of people off, is like, no, it ain't about the money.
Then what was it about, Riot? It was about sending a message, was it?
We just want to watch our tax write-offs burn. Yeah, but weird. It's all about like team effectiveness and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that was another thing that Bungie touched on with their layoffs. They're like, yeah, we think smaller teams are better, so we're overcorrecting for overhiring during COVID.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, you know, Microsoft's going through another round of layoffs. I think that, or they're getting to the end of the last round that they announced. I don't remember. Or maybe it's Google. Fuck, it's like half of bloody Fang, honestly. But it's still crazy that through all of this, Netflix, to the best of my knowledge, has never had to lay anyone off except where they reprioritized their animation wing and reorged those people into other parts of the business, and maybe part of that team got cut. Don't quite remember the specifics.
I don't know what happened to them, but they just closed down their gaming division.
With layoffs?
I don't know if it was layoffs included, but like an old Halo writer or developer joins them a couple of years ago, and now they're closed. They're no longer doing their AAA development pipeline.
Damn.
He's playing Sonic again.
My dog's barking at me.
Wow. Sonic's your dog now, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hedgehog.
Continue the news docket. I gotta let my dog out.
Sure.
No, let's just sit in silence.
I mean, yeah, I can just cut out Slack to break if you want.
Nope, don't do that. Make the silence.
It's just fascinating to me that all these companies that went through massive growth spikes during COVID, at least on par, don't know about the game division situation, but Netflix seems to be the only one that was like, yeah, suddenly a bajillion people are now using our service through lockdown because people are just staying at home and watching Netflix.
But people can't do anything else, yeah.
Yeah. Yet, still, of all the FANG companies, they're the only ones that haven't, like, fucked up immeasurably to the point where they're like, hey, so we got it wrong and we have to, like, axe, like, 20% of the workforce.
They might be doing it, like, in, like, a staged approach. Like, if you let one or two people go every week, before you know it, you'll have the 20%. Like, Netflix, actually, I think I saw something the other day that like Netflix this year has had like the biggest growth in like 4 years. So maybe they're doing something right. I think streaming services in general are in trouble. We can't keep doing this. But look, layoffs everywhere, right? I don't want to keep. Well, I just don't want to talk about it. I'm very privileged to still have a job.
Yeah, we can move on, but sad for the writers.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Hang on, that's going to sound funny out of context. Next up, Bandai Namco sending stuff to expulsion rooms.
This is fucking insane, and every time I hear something about like a Japanese company doing this, I'm reminded that very psychopathic behavior. So, like, long story short is that the Japanese office of Bandai, well, I think they've only got the Japanese office, but, like, it's very common in, like, Japanese businesses, like if you want to get rid of someone, you don't fire them. You pretty much just tell them to sit in a room for 8 hours and they go fucking insane. So they quit. And there's been like, and it's to be like, oh, look, the staff are leaving voluntarily. Like we're not firing anybody. They're just moving on. And it makes their numbers look good and all that kind of stuff. But Bandai Namco, I'm not sure if it's been like accused of it or whatever. So yeah, according to the report, 200 of 1,300 employees have been banished to expulsion rooms. Jesus fucking Christ. Which is
like, you could just start your own company at that point.
yeah, like surely you do not have so little work that instead of just letting these people go, you're like, you know what? Sit in a room for 8 hours.
See, I've seen. I don't remember if it was a piss take or not, but I saw something where it was like, because the whole thing is like, so similar to what you're saying, it's really good in terms of like looking good for the company. We're not letting people go, like we're not firing people. They're just choosing to quit on their own terms. That side of it. I've also heard that there's just a big cultural thing of you need to feel like you're being productive and you need to feel like you're contributing to society, and that this fucks with that like cultural norm, and so therefore you feel out of place and that you quit to go find something that is fulfilling, that you are contributing to. But there was some legend that's like, I've got no qualms just doing my own thing for 8 hours a day. This is totally fine with me.
Yeah, like it'd be like, I'm not sure if it's like can you go on your phone in those rooms or something?
Exactly.
Or like
yeah. And so it was like it was like details of this guy who I don't, again, could have just been a piss take because it's so hard to tell these days, but I think it was like on the order of weeks or months, just being like, like week 4 of just like fucking
getting paid to stand in this room.
Yeah. Just like playing fucking Candy Crush on my phone or whatever. Like this is awesome. Like I can't believe I'm literally getting paid to do nothing. This is the greatest thing ever. And there's just this expectation of like, oh no, he'd go insane. Like there's no way someone could be that unproductive for that long and want to remain employed here. And this guy's just like living it up.
Yeah, like it's very different culture. I understand that. But very fucking weird that they are actually doing it. Ugh.
Yeah. And then the flip side, slightly related, Amazon, or AWS at least, did go through a quiet restructuring. I say quiet restructuring is in like hey, we want everyone to return to the office. Oh, you don't want to return to the office? That's cool. Just quit.
Yeah, all the best.
And there was one guy who, it was like in his contract that he could work remote, and it just got into this weird impasse of like the person that he reported to was like, yeah, well, I guess you have to, come to the office. And he's like, but my contract says that I can work remote and not do that. And so it then goes to like his boss's boss, and his boss's boss is like, yeah, shit, I guess it is that in the contract, but we need you to come into the office anyway. And so he ended up just basically being sent to an expulsion room in America, in that they just didn't give him any work to do because he wasn't coming to the office to like get work, but they also couldn't fire him because
in his contract he has to
he hadn't done anything against his contract like warranting being fired, and if he was fired he'd had to get a severance package and everything else. And so he's literally just doing like side projects and hobby stuff for like a couple weeks. He ended up just quitting of his own volition because he found something better like anyway, but for like I think he was talking about like 2 months or something, he was just basically doing like side project work just during work hours because there wasn't anything.
You're not giving any
do.
work. Yeah, you got to do something to pass the time. Yeah, Jesus Christ,
crazy.
Dark times. Dark times.
What about you, Seth? Would you be sane just playing on your phone for 8 hours a day in an expulsion room?
Don't think he's back yet.
I thought
Is
it
that
was
the
back.
joke?
That was on me. Yeah, no.
I didn't know if you hadn't taken the piss or what.
It's his own expulsion room. No, I thought he was back. I thought I heard something through his mic. Yeah. I don't know. Sad for the people in the situation, especially if it is a cultural thing that like you actually feel bad
100%.
being attached
100%.
to this. Also can't help but think of the getting Shrek'd thing of DreamWorks. Of you've been banned.
You were sent to the Shrek mines, as a punishment, but that turned out to be really good, yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I guess we continue moving on. Yes, fucking Hindenburg short selling news. Love this one. So Hindenburg short selling. It's a firm that they do research into a company. I love this business model. They do research into a company, produce a report about whether the company's finances stack up with what they claim in terms of on the markets and stuff. And when they release this report, they then buy a whole bunch of short positions. And the idea is when people read the report and go, actually, yeah, this company is fucked, I'm going to sell my shares, and it tanks the stock value, that Hindenburg makes money off of that. Absolute, just unhinged market behavior. I love it. And so they're right more often than not. They're not right every time, but they're right more often than not. And so they put together a report on Roblox saying that the market cap of Roblox does nowhere near line up with what the internal finances would have you believe, and that it's it's running a pedophile hellscape and lying about user numbers, which that's some language.
Look, Roblox is targeted at kids. There are a lot of kids online. You're obviously going to get freaks. And it is, and I'm so fucking glad I didn't grow up in this kind of generation, because this may surprise everybody, but I wasn't the smartest kid. There is a very high likelihood I would have been abducted, or been taken advantage of by bad actors, let's say. So
I just had to deal with Habbo Hotel.
That was pretty bad as well. I was a teenager when I was on that, so I was just a little piece of fucking shit. I'll buy your furniture off you. I promise you. You just transfer me the furniture first. Yeah, I'm not making the pearly gates of the things I did on that. But I'm not surprised to hear this kind of stuff. And this really, once again, that if I ever have kids, they are never touching the internet until they're 18. And that they'll hate me for it.
I need to touch on that for a moment. I feel like that's too strict. You just need to kind of monitor them a little bit or give them trust, because
I don't want to do any of those things.
I think it'd be unfair to my kids if I was strict on them on the internet, if I was left to my own devices to go on the internet at a young age.
I should never have been on the internet for fucking a young age.
Yeah, but
we know better. We have to teach our kids that the internet is bad.
We shouldn't have been, but I'm not going to go, I shouldn't have been playing GTA at 8 years old, so my kid's not going to play GTA until they're 18.
Nah, fuck yes. My kids aren't going outside. Actually, you know what? Maybe they will. Maybe they should only be outside. I haven't decided yet. What would you guys name your kids? Do you guys have names picked out?
No.
If I hate them, I'd call them Steve.
Fuck you. I think one of them's definitely going to be called Lance. Don't know what the second one will be. So I've got to decide that.
Go on for 2 kids. What are you, a millionaire?
Diminishing returns.
He has one.
Statistically speaking, one of them will make it rich, so I should have 2,000 of
them. One of the kids will be called the Rizzler, and the other one will be called Baby Gronk.
God.
I'm sorry, but the Rizzler is already taken by the Costco guys.
Both of them have already been taken. That's the joke.
I wasn't sure about that second one.
You don't know about Baby Gronk?
Not really.
This may surprise you all, but Baby Gronk has a Wikipedia page. Literally the other day, I made a reference, and everyone at work was "Don't know who Baby Gronk is." So then I googled it, and there's a Wikipedia page that I'm sending to you now, Seth. This will be on the test.
Can I? I'm not going to be there on the test day. I'm calling in sick.
You're getting a 0 then. You know what? Probably roughly.
I'll make it up in my other test.
Life.
Yeah, early life. The kid's fucking 12 years old. It's fucking insane.
Holy shit.
And no, it is so funny. And this is going off topic because I hate the Costco guys with every fiber of my being.
Oh, they're fun.
But they're just Costco guys.
It's just a dad and his son having a good time.
No, the funnier ones is when they've got the whole family in there. So it's the dad, the son, big AJ, big AJ. Anyway, but we'll have the dad, the son, the Rizzler, the wife, and the daughter. And you look at the fucking comments on Instagram, and every comment is I think her name's Alicia or something. It's what's Alicia's at? How old's Alicia? It's fucking insane behavior.
Oh, Roblox on the Instagram.
Pretty much, and it's just always so. I find it so fucking funny. Oh, it's fucking insane. A double chunk chocolate chip cookie. God, those cookies look good.
He got signed to do a match in AEW, by the way.
The dad was like actually a pro wrestler back in the day or something. He's definitely on the gear now. He's too big to not be. But it's fucking insane. And his collaboration with Livy Dunn as well, insane. And you get an update from that guy, and he's obviously got and he's got all those wows happening in the background, and he's got like the 1,000-yard Coke stare. Jesus Christ. Can we move on? I'm done. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought up the Costco guys.
I've been wanting to move on, but I was also thinking if I should push this a little further by bringing up the Sam's Warehouse guys.
Sam's Warehouse guys. I have not heard of this.
The only video I've seen from them is them comparing things with the Costco guys to see who has a better store.
Oh, the Sam's Club.
Sam's
guys.
Club, that's what it is.
And they're watch me be mega racist here, but I think they're Sri Lankan or Indian.
I couldn't tell you. Like, I'm partially Middle Eastern, and I don't know differences to tell us apart.
I'm not going to say anything to that. Can we move on?
I've been begging you to move on forever.
Cool. Microsoft news.
We can speedrun all these. Who cares? No games.
You should.
Okay, so the first one, there's an antitrust lawsuit going on. Microsoft settled. We have no details. The second one is a big surprise. Xbox is cancelling the $1 Game Pass trial ahead of the Black Ops 6 launch. It did the same thing for Starfield back in the day. So if you really care about Black Ops,
you just don't like sitting on bad Xbox news, do you? If it's bad Sony news, you'll sit there and absorb it all day. But if it's bad Xbox news, let's speedrun it. Let's just say the headline and not elaborate.
But it's like you say the headline, not speedrun. It is not. We've been doing the news for like 2 hours, man. We got to cut the cord. Xbox Game Studios gets a new boss.
It's just funny that you wanted, after having a big rant about the Costco guys, you want to cut the cord at Microsoft.
Good point.
Baby Gronk on the pod would be different. That's all I'm saying.
Bring the Rizzler on. What does he have to say about this? But yeah, there's Xbox Game Studios is the former head of Rare, which is very interesting. So expect Banjo 3 any day now.
No, even Rare doesn't want to do Banjo 3 at the moment.
Yeah, but this guy probably does. Alan Hartman. No, hang on. Alan Hartman's retiring, and Craig Duncan. Fucking Craig Duncan. That's 2 first names. You can't trust a man with 2 first names. And then there was the Xbox partner preview, and big fans of the show will know that the FTL gang spoke over this as it was happening.
No, we didn't. This is the one that was on at 4 a.m.
Yeah, no, we did the Tokyo one.
The Tokyo game show. You're right. I kneel. But yeah, I did not care for any of this. Didn't I? Pirate Yakuza got a new trade. Oh, we got Animal World for Xbox. That's Donkey's video game. Shout out to Donkey. Please shout us out back. Nothing else. We got that Eden Zero. I don't care for that. No, I'm just going through the list now. We got Wheel World. That looks like a bicycle simulator or something, like a bicycle racing simulator. It seems interesting, but it's got the same cel-shaded art style from Dungeons of Hinterberg, and everybody will know that. Like, I really did like the art style. Didn't like the game. So, and that's it. That's all I have to say about it.
So, Patrick, I'm going to run this by you real quick. Would you care if I went back to the beginning and actually elaborated on some of these articles a little bit instead of just speedrunning them? Because I have a little bit to say on each one.
I feel like most of the gist was actually done, but yeah, if you want to elaborate, you have like a sentence or two for a crumb of content.
Yeah, so the antitrust lawsuit was actually the Microsoft versus the gamers who were doing a 69 million Activision a lawsuit over the 69 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition. This was filed back in 2022, and we talked about it, and we're like, this is going to be very funny how this plays out, because it's the gamers versus Microsoft. It's not going to go anywhere, and surprise, surprise, it didn't actually go anywhere. They settled out of court. I'm very curious what the number was. That was the settled number, because if they got a decent payout, that would have been very funny to be on like the committee of gamers that sued Microsoft just for the sake of trying to get them to pay up to make them shut up.
True.
It's pretty much what they said.
Microsoft pulling the $1 Game Pass trial, that one I just find very funny. They did this before for Starfield, before Starfield came out. Now they're doing it again before Black Ops 6 comes out. So it'll probably come back later, but like at the launch of these big games, like, no, fuck you, you're not getting these big games for $1 is very transparent of them to do and very funny.
Mm-hmm. Please come and try Game Pass, but not like that.
Yeah.
This makes
give us
business
the
sense.
full Game Pass price.
I can appreciate the hustle.
Imagine if Netflix, before every new season of Stranger Things, was like, we will no longer do a free trial. You have to pay us to come onto our service. That's what Microsoft is pulling at least once a year right now.
Yeah, well, Microsoft's going to Microsoft.
Yeah. Gotta make their money somehow.
I actually don't have a lot to say about the Rare boss taking over Xbox Game Studios. I don't know a lot about what the last guy did. And I don't know a lot about what the new guy's done. This was just here because I thought, hey, let's put this here for Steven's to praise a new Xbox Lord for him.
All I'm saying is there were quite a few companies operating as Xbox Game Studios. Now there's quite a few less operating as Xbox Game Studios. So
in comparison to how many are operating as Activision Blizzard.
Just for that, we're closing down 2 more.
And yeah, so the big partner preview happened. I actually thought that Wu Chang Fallen Feathers game looks pretty interesting. This is like a action-y style game, like very similar looking to Black Myth Wukong in a sense. But yeah, that looks interesting. I'm just a sucker for action games, so if it's good, I will get into that. Firebreak might be interesting. The new multiplayer game by Remedy. It's a free player co-op PvE game. So I don't know how they're going to go with a multiplayer game since they've been primarily a single player studio, but interested to see how this plays out for them. What else? Like Steven said, Pirates Yakuza got a new trailer. Looks phenomenal. Oh right, there was this game, Blindfire. I don't dip my toes into FPSs a lot, but this game was like, this is entering early access, and it's a game where is an FPS arena shooter where it's all in the dark, so you have to base your movements and your shooting off like what you can scan off the environment, or like if an explosion happens, like the little bit of light you get off of that, or if anything glows, what will happen. So that's an interesting concept I want to see played out, like how that's going to go over into gameplay, if it's going to be any fun, or if it's like a weird experimental idea that doesn't end up taking off. And the last one for me was this game called Mouse P.I. for Hire. We've talked about Fallen Aces before, which was a noir-styled boomer shooter game, and now this Mouse P.I. game is a boomer shooter based on old rubber hose style animation, like old Steamboat Willie. Yeah, 1920s cartoon characters. This does look very sick. A lot of fun. The animation details on the guns firing and everything looks phenomenal. I'm way into this.
I did not care for this. I had a visceral reaction when this came on screen. Like I don't know what it is, but it feels like way smooth. Like I don't like unnaturally smooth. But whatever. I'll admit that sometimes I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, this looks phenomenal to me. I'm very excited for this one. And I think that was it for me in terms of what Xbox showed off.
Subnautica 2, the only other one that I wanted to touch on. Very sad to be a PlayStation gamer. Subnautica, I have played a little bit. Wasn't able to unshit my pants enough to finish on PlayStation. But Subnautica 2, no PlayStation. Yet, at least.
Yeah, it's because it's early access, so PlayStation doesn't really do early access stuff unless you're Palworld. So it'll probably come in when it's a 1.0 release.
Thanks for
or if it takes off and then Sony gets on their hands and knees and goes, please come to us as well.
True. Cool. I think that finally wraps up the news.
I believe so.
Good old short one today, huh? Well, with that, we are at the end of the news and at the end of episode 122. I don't believe we have an audience question for this week, but if there is something you'd like us to chat about, free to get in touch. We're on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge, X formerly Twitter, the Everything app, at Fast Travel Lounge minus the L that Elon Musk continues to take. FastTravelLounge.bluesky.social, and good old.
Should we start using Threads more?
Gmail.com.
Threads seems to be like the place to go now.
No, everyone's migrated to Blue Sky from what I saw after the updates Elon did with blocking on Twitter. Everyone just shifted to Blue Sky because it's open for signing up now.
Oh, so they don't have that invitation only thing. God, I hated that. Okay.
Cool. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for hosting, Pat. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Happy birthday, Costco boys.